Well, hello everyone. This is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps over here on the Casino Gaming TV Network show, and welcome back to Craps Chat. This is episode 13. Let's hope 13 is going to be good for us today, and I really appreciate everybody getting here so early today. We had several people here early, and although Ed from Roll to Win was early, he wasn't the earliest one that was here. If I scroll back and take a look at who the earliest person that was here, I believe it was, let me get over here to the screen. I believe, oh, they've already cleared the screen already. I got to go back to the third screen. I believe it was this gentleman right here. Let me put this up here. It's Blue Jay Way. Blue Jay Way was here, but shortly right behind him, my favorite all-time guy, Duracell, was in the chat, and he said, hey, smash the like button almost 51 minutes ago. So Duracell, thank you. Hopefully you're still here, because what you requested last night over on Big AZ's channel, we are going to see tonight, because Big AZ is in the green room, and we will be bringing him on here in just a few minutes. Now, guys, I'll be monitoring the chat throughout the day. You know that I'm the producer, the host, one of the co-hosts, and we'll be bringing Dylan on here in just a little bit. We also have Big AZ in the green room. We got a couple people on the Zoom. If you want to join the show, it's very simple for you to join the show. You join the show just by simply going to Craps Chat, or in the description below is the link to get on the show if you want to get on the show and join us by Zoom. Now, if you're going to be joining us by Zoom, you don't have to show your face. Just black it out, put your name up there so we know who you are. You can join the show and join in. This is the pre-show. We've started something new here because we seem to have people linger in and they get past the start of the show. So we're going to do a little pre-show here. So in the beginning, what I want you to do is, if you want to join, go to the description below, hit that Zoom link, come on in, wait for me because I have to let you in. There's people waiting already. I'll get to you there. Don't log out on us, but hang in there. We do have a pre-show today, and one of the pre-show things that I'm going to be doing today is, once again, Craps Master Journey Joe, who happens to be on the Zoom link, he'll be here. He did a video this past week, I guess maybe just a little more than a week ago, and it talks about how we can help and be responsible gaming, and us as YouTube content providers, and you as excellent craps players, you viewers and subscribers, what you can do. So what we're going to do real quick is we're going to head over there, and I'll be back after that video, and we have one more video from Midmo Yo. So hang in there. This is the pre-show, guys. Hang in there. The show starts at 9.
Hey, promoting gambling within appropriate limits is an essential thing for the survival of craps. Not only for the game of craps, but for your journey as a craps player. Hey, my name is Joe, and this is my Craps Master Journey. Let's make it yours too. Hey, I'm gonna go through 7 different things that's gonna help you promote responsible gambling at the casino. And number 1 is kind of a common theme in a lot of my videos, and that is knowing your limits. You need to know what your win goal is, what your stop loss is, and know what type of risk you wanna put out at the craps table and that you're willing to survive. So hey, hit that video card up in the top right corner there. That'll bring you to a video that talks more specifically about that and how you become better at gambling if you do know your limits. Number 2, if you preach it, then practice it. So in other words, I talk about knowing my limits. So if I don't hit my win goal and walk away from the table, or if I hit my stop loss and I don't walk away from the table, then hey, I'm not living up to what I'm preaching. Make sure that you use discipline. If you preach it, and you're telling your friends this, and you're sharing this on videos, and you're practicing it at home, make sure that you follow when you get to the casino, because it's so easy to get caught up in the hype and the hoopla and all the energy, either positive or negative for that matter, when it comes to walking up to the craps table in a casino. Number 3, don't be afraid to let the people around you at the craps table know your limits. Let them know what your win goal is. Hey, I just need to win $150 today and I'm out of here. Or I got $200 to lose and that's it. Then I'll be gone, whether it's your day or your trip. Let the people around you know. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't try to be that big macho person. Don't try to show off in front of them. Be honest with them. It's not going to hurt. And that way they have an understanding what your goal is, and they know that you're there to win money. They know what your limits are. They know what you're willing to put up with. Hey, number 4 is, if people ask you about your rack management system, share it with them. Why not? Let them know that, hey, I did a bunch of videos on rack management, at least 4 videos so far. But let them know that this is how you separate things out. You came in, you bought it for $500. You separated everything into units, whether it be $100 units or for green chips would be hundreds. For fives, I would put it in $25 units. Break it up, share people if they ask. Let them know how you manage your rack, because every little bit of information we can get out into the craps community is going to help people become more educated, to help them become smarter about playing the game of craps, and hopefully help give them the tools that they need in order to become a responsible gambler at the craps table. Because hey, this video is all about responsible gambling. It's all about promoting the responsibility, the appropriate way of doing things at the craps table. Coming in at number 5 is knowing where to find the information about the NCPG, the National Council of Problem Gambling. If you look in the description of underneath every single one of my videos, and underneath most videos for us YouTubers, we will have contact information to get a hold of the NCPG. We'll give you a phone number. We'll give you the web address. I believe there's also a way to text this council, the National Council of Problem Gambling. This is an organization that is designed to help people with problem gambling. Now, I know before I get a lot of messages in my comments below, and please do so, but hey, before I get a lot of those comments, there's going to be a lot of people out there that don't like the NCPG, that think that they are not living up to their true potential. Just know that we have many other ways of getting people help as well. And, figure out a way that you can talk to these people. Hey, I understand that you don't have the money to get home today. Give this number a call. Maybe they can help you. Maybe they can help walk you through the steps that you need to either get your gambling under control or to help get you through so it does not become a major stress on your life. Number 6, and this goes along with promoting craps, but also promoting responsible gambling for other people. So in other words, if people ask for your help, make sure you're not the type of person that says, hey, go walk over there, they can help you more. Make sure that you help them. Whether it be a person asking about how to play craps, whether it be a person asking about your betting strategy, whether it be a person asking about your rack management, or how you're counting the chip rolls, or what everything is. Guys, help them. Help them, help them, help them. That might be that one person that you're helping that's going to help get away from problem gambling, get away from that addiction, help guide them in the right direction so they make great choices, and gambling actually is a fun endeavor rather than a life-altering endeavor. And number 7 is setting up your 401g. So in other words, setting up your gambling account. This money that you're winning here all goes to help fund that gambling account. So that way, when you have the money, enough money to go to the craps table, you can go and gamble it and try to make more money without any guilt, without any fear of losing it. Because this is not money that's going to be paying for your rent or your food or your utilities or your vehicle payment. Have a 401g set up and continuously contribute to it, so that way it is worry-free money, and it's money that you can use to make more money. Remember, scared money does not make money. So in other words, if you're afraid to waste that money, if you're afraid to lose the money, you're not going to be playing up to your true potential. You're not going to be making the decisions that it takes in order to become a successful craps player at the table. Hey, if anything in this video has been of any help to you, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. And if you're looking for 5 things that you need to do in order to become a successful craps player, look at the right side of the screen over there, and that'll bring you to a video that I did a while back that'll talk about that. Hey, my name is Joe, and this is my Craps Master journey. Let's make it.
All right, I did cut Joe off there at the end when I snipped out that little piece there. But guys, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are almost to the bewitching hour of 9 o'clock. We have just a couple more things to go in the live show. Looks like we got about 35 people already here, which is good because we do have a great show coming up. As part of the pre-show, I'm going to premiere Churro's Here's the Deal from this morning. So if you haven't seen it, just bear with us. This is real short. I'm right on time. The show will start right at 9 o'clock. So let's get over to Churro's video, and here's the deal for this week.
Hey everybody, this is Churro with Minmo Yo, and here's the deal. So you've arrived at the casino and you have a certain strategy in mind that you're going to be playing. You got a couple of strategies in your back pocket, but this is the one that you want to play. You also have a bankroll, and it doesn't matter if it's a small bankroll or a big bankroll, it's your bankroll that you're going to try this strategy with. Half an hour goes by and about a quarter of your bankroll is already gone. Strategy that you're playing is not working. You decide, let's switch it up. Let's go to what the table is showing me. So you switch it up. About another 20 minutes later, half of your bankroll is gone. All of a sudden, the table kind of switched back. Right when you had switched, it switched back. And your original strategy would have been doing pretty decent. What do you do? I'm almost positive we have all been through this. Any of us who play craps at a casino on a consistent basis, we probably have all been through this one. That's why I really want to hear what you have to say about this. So please, in the comments below, mention if you've been through it and what did you do, or if you've not been through this, what would you do in this in particular scenario? I will interact with your comments because I was thinking maybe I'll go ahead and explain how I handled it, but I will interact with your comments because I don't want to put any judgment on anybody on changing their mind on what they're going to say. So I want to hear what you say, and then I'll explain how I ended up handling it. So what would you do in this situation? Your strategy didn't work, you switched, and your strategy still isn't working because it went back. So what would you do? All right, guys, you know the routine. Comment below, hit that thumbs up, that like button, please. That is huge. Hopefully you watch the whole video, because as we all know, watching the whole video is super, super important to the algorithm. And pressing that like button and commenting below. Those things are monsters for the algorithm. So I would very much appreciate it. And I will see you next time.
Okay, so that was Churro's Here's the Deal for this week. He's done about 5 of these, and I was going to do a montage, but I decided not to do that. And he told me yesterday that he brings those things out on Sundays, and he also has something going up. I'm hoping Churro's going to join us. I don't know that he's in the Zoom room yet, but we have 6 people in the Zoom room now. Plus, in the green room, we have Big AZ and my special guest, my creator. I shouldn't say special guest. He's the co-host of the show. Dylan has finally showed up. He had a special thing going on. He's just walked into the room as well. Just last minute. I've got to do everything, guys. Anyway, I do want to say one thing. To everybody that reached out to me yesterday, last night, and into today, wondering how I was. They heard that I was, well, I had a little injury. 2 weeks in a row now I've injured myself. But, without making a long story, guys, I'm standing here. I have one of those boots on my left foot. I hyperextended my left ankle, and it is killing me. I was supposed to do the Friday night show last night on this channel, Casino Gaming TV Network, but I couldn't. And Chris from Sideshow Gamble stepped up. Chris from Dice DJ did an excellent job boxing. And how about the 2 players, guys? How about Big AZ, and how about Carl, my co-trip? Was that outstanding? We're going to get to that in just a second. Before I get there, one of my good friends called me today, or sent me a message today, and I'm going to put this up here on the screen. Just give me 1 second to cut over here to this, make sure my audio is still going. This came from none other than 555 Greg's, and he said, Jeff, I heard you were injured. Who's going to run the show tonight? Well, Greg, I'm here. I don't know if Greg is here yet. I don't know what's going on, but Greg sent this to me today, and I certainly am glad that I got all the messages and all the well-goings. Everybody ready to get the show started? Let's do it! right, we are ready to get this show started. We've got a lot of people here. I just see that John from CRAPS has joined us. John, you missed it probably the beginning of the show. Had a little scrolling thing there giving you credit for the use of the channel of Casino Gaming TV Network. And this show here, CRAPS Chat, looks like we have a lot of people in the audience. We do have many people in the Zoom. Two things I want to get to before I bring my co-host in here. If you want to get on the show, the description's down below. Just click it. I'll let you in. Just wait for me to get you in the door there. Secondly, if you're using a PC, you will need a set of headphones. If you're using a phone or tablet, you won't need any. Come join us in the Zoom. If you want to stay in the chat, that's fine, but we love to have discussions. We've got a couple new people in the Zoom that we're going to get to in just a little bit. How about we go ahead and bring on my co-host, Dylan. How are you there, my friend? How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I'm doing just wonderful, just wonderful. So I just want to remind everybody, if they want to get in the show, you just got to hit the description in the link below. I forgot to update the CRAPS Chat website. I thought about that when I was in doing my pre-show. So, Dylan, did you get your stuff done with Joy? Is she okay with you online here now?
Yeah. We had ordered a special pay-per-view, and it's going on right now. So we had to switch phones because I ordered it through my phone, and so I'm having to use hers. But everything's.
Oops. Sorry about that. I pushed the wrong button. Well, that's good. That's good. I'm glad that that everything has worked out for you, and that it's working good for you. You know, Dylan, it's just hard to believe. This is episode 13 of our shows, and we've got a good lineup for the first half hour to maybe 45 minutes. That's about all he can stay with us today. So we're going to, you know, kind of like. What can I say? Bring him in here in just a couple of seconds. So for those of you that, oops, that's the wrong button. Come on, guys, what's going on here? It always fails. Hey, I'm in control. It's my foot. My foot's what the problem is. I got all these foot switches down there that I'm switching with. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, guys, this is Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. That is Dylan from Skill and Luck. And we're going to go ahead, without further ado, we are going to go ahead and bring in our special guest. We had hoped to have two of them, but Carl could not make it tonight. So here we are. We're going to go ahead and bring in Big AZ. Big AZ is in the green room. How are you doing tonight, Big AZ?
How's it going, fellas? I thought it was an intervention for me for a minute watching all those preview videos there.
I don't know about an intervention. I don't think you need that. You know, I've talked with several people today about last night's show on Friday Night Fights, and it was just extraordinary. John's in the chat, by the way, and he, of course, he plays Carl next week. And what I wanted to do today, after the show was over with last night, you know, I reached out to you and I said, hey, after we got done on your show last night, hey, would you come on the show? I know that you have a show still to do, so you're only here for us for maybe another half hour or so, so we won't take up too much time. But I appreciate you coming on. For those of you that don't know, Big AZ was the first person to retain the King of the Mountain title more than 1 week. I think you had 2 weeks, right, Big AZ? You had 2 weeks. I think that's what it was.
I don't know.
Well, whichever. So we got a new title for next week, which is Carl from My Code Trip. He's the color up side of it, and he will play John next week, and I'm praying that I can deal that one next week, and I can either have one of the Chris's. Chris from Dice Degen is such a good person in the box. I'd like to have him deal. Nothing against Chris from Sideshow Gamble, but I just really would like to. I'm looking forward to dealing that. So, John, if I could deal it, that would be great. If you want Anthony to deal it because it's going to be a big match, then I certainly understand that as well. With that said, let's go ahead and bring in our panel from the Zoom room. Everybody is on there. I'm going to make that bigger in just 1 second. Up in the upper left-hand side, we have Ed from Roll to Win. In the middle, we have Chris from Dice Degen. And I believe that's, is that Al from Texas Crap Shooters? Is that who that is? Yep, there he is. And look, there's Craig. Craig from Old Bay Craps is in there. Churro just walked into the house. And my good friend Joe from Craps Master Journey. That's premiered twice now on our pre-show. Guys, how are you all doing? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Their audio may not be on. Let's try this. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing great.
Oh, there we go.
Fantastic.
You know, I always struggle with the audio right off the bat, guys. Good, good. Well, what we do is we have Big AZ in here, and Big AZ and I talked about a couple things after the show last night. And I was actually talking to Ed from Roll to Win prior to getting started with the show tonight, Big AZ, and he was very interested. He said it was one of the most captive head-to-head matches. It kept his attention. I won't speak for him, but that was a match last night, Big AZ. What actually did you ever have a plan going in, or when you saw how the rolls were going and the lack of sevens? What was going on with that?
I started on the don't and was playing box numbers and pressing the box numbers from the don't, and the 7 never came. And then I went to a DC thinking, okay, we're 10 rolls in, 12 rolls in. So I was pressing those box numbers, and then I went to a DC, and the 7 still never came. But I laid the 4 and 10 odds, and I kept laying the 4 and 10 odds and laying the 4 and 10 odds. And we hit 20 rolls on the first round. And I didn't win anything. I just got my money back. Plus, I mean, I made some money, but it just didn't work. I mean, Chris, beforehand, he asked if he wanted us to let him set him or just random shoot him. I said I didn't care. It was up to Carl. Carl said didn't matter to him, just chuck him. And then I said I'm worried about a random chuck. Joking before we started, and I was pretty serious about it. And Chris actually went round 1, didn't throw a 7. I believe round 2 he threw a 7, but it was a come-out 7. And then round 3 he still didn't throw a 7. So it was really he went all 36 rolls on the same roll. So who knows how many rolls he would have had. So
Correct.
And then it came down, to the end. It was all strategy. He hit a hard 4 with a couple rolls left. Put him up at least 700 to 1,000 on me. I knew that. And he bet first, and then I still had to lay 4 and 10. So if a 7 came out, that gave me 3 outs. I was looking at it as in like poker. I had 3 outs there, 3 different combinations I could win. And then I was thinking, hop the 6s and 8s. I did that for 100 each, thinking, okay, that'd be another profit of about 1,000, which would have been really close. I had to do something on that last roll. There's nothing else I could have done, really. I mean, I could have won aces or boxcars to try to get it back, or took it all down, put it in the field. I could have done something, but he rolled a 5. So it is what it is. I mean, I guess it's an exciting match anytime somebody doesn't roll a 7. But I started from the dark. The one time I made a profit in these matches, the one time I made a profit, I lost. The first 2 matches, I did not make a profit, but I won both of them because I lost less. This time I made a lot of profit, but I lost. But that's okay. It was a good game by Carl.
Excellent game, excellent game. I was kind of sitting back watching what was going on, and I'm kind of glad Chris got to deal that last night because all the moves that he was making, and you guys did really simple bets. We didn't do bets like somebody that's right down there does, from time to time. But I thought it was outstanding because sometimes we have people like Buckeye Slim, and he's always playing some of those prop bets with some off the wall numbers. Nothing against the prop bets, but sometimes as a dealer, as an inexperienced dealer like me, it is really difficult. Because you do it every single night, and that was the next thing I was going to lead into was you have been live 8 nights in a row, and you're going to be going live here in about 45 to 50 minutes for your 9th night in a row. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, I guess. Yeah, if you're tracking it, I guess.
Well,
the summer was tough because I had my trip across the country with my mother, so I couldn't do a lot of sessions, and then
Which that was really
back
cool.
to work. Well, I appreciate that. It was fun. It was something. I get 7 weeks off, so I had a chance to fly back to Philly and get my mom and drive her out here to Arizona. And on our way, we stayed at many casinos for free. Thank you, Caesars. Thank you, Boyd Properties. And I got to play not a ton, 100 here, 200 there, until we got to Vegas. And then I played a little bit more, and it was fun. Great experience. A lot of different casinos, a lot of different, just unique, crazy stuff. Just different rules everywhere that you just don't know. Some places are like, just for example, one thing, the ATS. I had a couple of white chips in my rack. They said it had to be 5-5-5. I said, okay, I'll take 6-7-6, and they're like, no, has to be in multiples of 5. I'm like, okay. Just stuff that you just like. Okay, everywhere is so different that that's all. I thought that was pretty funny.
Right. Well, you actually led into my third thing I was going to talk about, which was your summertime trip where you flew out here to Philly, and unfortunately I was unable to come up and meet up with you that day. I had some personal things going on, but then you went clear across country to Vegas, back down to Arizona for I guess a few days or a week, and then you drove back and you flew back. I mean, how many casinos did you actually play at?
Oh, I forget. Well, I took my mom to me personally playing, I didn't play in every casino. My mom put money in a slot in many casinos. I didn't. But we were probably, I forget the number now. It was at least 40, 45 at least. You got to think it was probably 30 days total. So but it was the same casino multiple times like here in Arizona. But I would say about 45 different casinos, yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've been in 45 different casinos in my life. I've been on almost every cruise ship, so maybe that does count. But when you came back from Arizona and you headed back, you sort of took that southern track. Did you go down to Biloxi, and did you happen to run into Ed? Well, maybe Ed was there that weekend.
No.
I haven't spoken to either one of you.
I didn't run it. I was at the Hard Rock too, and I was there early in the morning at like 6 a.m. like on a Monday, and it was a ghost town. I did not play.
Okay.
I had terrible days the day before that, the day before. If it was somebody at the table or somebody I recognized, I probably would have played, but I didn't. No. But the table was open.
You should have played.
I know, I should have. It was probably like 6, 7 a.m. The table was actually open. Here in Arizona, I don't think we have a table that opens before 11.
Yeah, that's how my table
Biloxi was
in the
unique.
backyard.
Well, I know you like the Hard Rock. I know.
They do the same thing in Missouri. Craps tables don't open on one of my casinos until 10 o'clock. And then another one that I went to didn't even open until noon.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'd rather play early in the morning. It's frustrating for sure.
What were some of the table limits?
I know Harrah's was 15, and they had a crapless in Biloxi. The only one that I saw, I played at Palace Casino. Is it called the Palace? I think that was a 10 minimum. IP. I don't know.
IP was probably 15 or 25. Probably 15 during the week.
Yeah. For me to find the only $5 table I saw was at Boomtown, but it was a roll to win.
Yeah.
But I've never been to Biloxi in my life. Oh, it was very unique in the barge. It was very cool, very cool. Unique. I've never been on something like that. And then I went to up in Indiana or near that southern Indiana area. It was called Belterra. Was a riverboat. So that was really cool too. Yeah. Biloxi. I mean, I've been to Atlantic City many times in Atlantic City, but Biloxi was more Atlantic City spread out. I couldn't really walk to place. You know.
Well, let me get this question out here, Big AZ, while you're still here, because I know you got to run because you want to go for your 9th night in a row, and I think we talked about that last night. Maybe I'm making a big deal about it, but it is what it is. Let me see if any of the panel here wants it, and anybody in the chat, if you're in the text chat at home, put a question mark or a Q. I'd rather have a capital Q so that I can search for the questions. And if you have something you'd like to ask Big AZ while he's here, we can. Let's go ahead and let's. Ed, you're here. You have never played with Big AZ. What did you think of the match last night?
I thought that was a very intriguing match. I could see the math wheels turning in AZ's mind as he was trying to figure out what the hell is going on. There were no sevens going at all, and he's sitting there going from the box numbers to the DC, and I'm kind of shaking my head. I want to see how he plays this out. It was very entertaining. It was a very entertaining match, I have to admit.
Well, thank you. I'll tell you, tournament play, I mean, I know my channel, we change rules. So we change a lot of different things. But it just keeps your mind sharp, different ways to play the game. Maybe you wouldn't normally play that way. You you have to be open to play it so many different ways. And when you play any kind of tournament game, I think it does that. It just keeps your mind sharp. So when you get to the real table, I think you really understand the game a lot better, for sure.
All right. Let me get this in there. El Toro, if you're still in the audience because you tried to come into the Zoom, by all means, please come back. I let you in. I don't know how long you were waiting there. I didn't see the pop-up box, but we did have El Toro pop in and pop out. If you're still watching, sir, please come back in and join us. I will get you right in right away. All right. Anybody else on the panel here that's here tonight want to ask Big AZ a question or have a comment about anything while he's here before he has to go? Because he's got a live show to do.
Well, Big AZ, I actually do. Somewhat of what happened in that tournament is the reason why I ended up doing the Here's the Deal this Sunday or today. It made me think about you and what was going on. Now, so I'm going to present that question to you. When you're in a real casino and the same thing is actually happening to you, do you change your strategy? Do you try and move towards the rhythm of the table, or do you stick true to your strategy?
I am the worst. You don't want to hear these answers from me. I am the worst. If you watch my bubble crap videos, I am as stubborn can be. On a real table, if we play like a $5 table at Ellis Island, I'll just go 22 inside and I'll press to the moon. I'll play different on a $5 table than I will on a 15. On a 15, I'm scared. I'm more scared, so I might start with a 50 don't and then go inside. Do I change strategies? Lately, I've been trying to press. I play the don't, inside numbers, press maybe 4 hits, and then try to regress, start over. But last night, he was winning. Chris hit 2 points in the first 6 rolls, and I was on the don't. And he was on it for. He wasn't on max odds, but he had several hundred in odds too. So I was down a good 800, 900 to 1,000 after the first 6, 7 rolls. So I had to do something. And then the second shooter, I had to make sure I had $5 more in my rack than he did. And that's all that was hopping. Yeah. That's all it was just trying to win and get that one over with so we can get to the last round. So.
Yeah, I thought that was a good move, and I was actually rooting for you. I was in the chat going, "Come on, AZ!"
You got to think some guy just randomly chuck him is going to throw 1-7 in 25 rolls. I mean, you would think, but not when I'm on the don't, right? Not when I'm on the don't. Of course not.
I thought Jeff was a couple weeks ago when it didn't happen.
Oh man.
So
I have a question about,
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Craig.
I just have a question to Big AZ about his nighttime challenges. Did you watch anything, or is it just your experience in the casinos that allows you to be such a great dealer during those, especially when you have 4 players and one of them's Vince?
You're way too kind. Well, as long as skill's not playing, I'll be okay. No, I like a good challenge. No, I've never been a dealer in my life. I've just dealt to myself. I'm a very good math person, I think. I love math. It's just more of a challenge to me. And then once you get the payout, I'm just all math payouts. I don't deal by colors or anything like that. It's just all math payouts. So that's a good question. I don't really know how to answer that. Thank you. You're too kind to me. You guys, I just try my best. I did deal to one. I've been doing challenges on my channel forever. I deal to one person, and then it went to like, okay, let's put 3 people. Let's try it. Okay, let's try 4 people. I mean,
well, I think one of the interesting things now is all of the super chats. They're just
they can change the rules
because people want to see the game change.
And I had this. My channel has changed, and I talked to Jeff about this before. My channel has changed from me just starting just on the don't only, because there weren't many channels that just talked about don't pass only stuff. And that's what I just started. I didn't even have a table or anything. I just say, put money on the don't, do this, even money, blah, blah, blah. And then here comes COVID. And then I just, I was cooped up in my house too. And I was just people were just happy when I went live. So I was just doing crazy stuff, just, jumping and elbowing my table and breaking my stick and just doing stuff to entertain people, not really taking anything seriously. And then the last year and a half, I tried to set dice. I've been trying to take it more seriously, learning different ways to play. Light side, I've totally gone from totally dark to totally light to like hybrid now. So, and my channel has changed into like what my subscribers or members want, and they want to play. So I don't, it's less about me. I mean, I've rarely put out a strategy video anymore. I've rarely put out anything anymore. I just put out my Vegas bubble videos, or if I record at a real table, or my channel has changed to what whoever watches my channel, what they want, and that's all. And if you have a YouTube channel, and I want to, so many people here have their own YouTube channel, and all I can tell you is, I'm not the most successful person ever, no, at YouTube, no, but you have to be committed. You have to take criticism, good or bad. You just have to. If somebody hates something I'm doing, okay, I'll put that in the back of my mind. If somebody likes what I'm doing, okay, I'll put that in the back of my mind. But never be stagnant. Always try to do your own thing. Don't try to do other people's things. Just do your own thing and be who you are. All that stuff with me breaking the stick, that's really frustration. That wasn't really, I was just pissed off. So I can't at the casino, I can't break something, so I just broke something on my own here. But just, if you have your own channel, don't give up. Just be who you are and do your thing. Whatever you like to do, your passion, just stick with it. Don't try to be somebody you're not, and you have to be committed, and just stay positive and take criticism, good and bad. Just go with it. Don't take it personally.
All right. Well, Big AZ, you actually covered the fifth thing that I was going to talk about.
Hold on
one second there.
The East Coast. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Craig. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, we love your show. But you're the reason that us on the East Coast are not getting a lot of sleep.
Oh, thanks, man. Thank
Craig,
you.
That is very true about that.
Watching it last night.
And I've tried to keep the same time slot for years now. I've always been, I might have only had 2 or 3 people watching, but I've always tried to keep about the same time every night, so people knew, I'd try to go live about the same time every night. I've tried that, and I've just stuck with it. That's all.
Well, Big AZ, I've been on a couple of your shows over the past year that's gone, my time, East Coast time's gone past 1:30 in the morning, and I was working at the time. And then, of course, the show that we did, 2 weeks ago with Dylan and me there towards the end, that was almost a 3-hour show. And last night was getting there. Last night's show was incredible to watch Bird Dog and events come back from being down where they were. And of course, Mark and myself, I kind of put it all out there. I should have pulled it down and just turned everything off. That's what I was going to do on the last one. But before we go on with the panel, let me get to one of these questions that's in the queue here. It comes from your good buddy here, Big AZ, and it comes from Duracell. He wants to know, do you like calling your shots during your rollouts? Do you enjoy that?
I don't know. I don't like it when it's about me. I know it sounds kind of crazy because I'm loud sometimes on my videos, but personally I'm very quiet and humble, and I don't really want to make it about me calling the shot, Duracell. Maybe if you have somebody else call it, I'd rather that, because I don't like determining the outcome. Maybe the shooter determines what I'm going to roll before I roll it instead of me calling my shot.
It's a shame that the chat lags so much, because you could have somebody in the chat, put a number out there, but it takes too long to lag.
I used to do that long time ago when I first went live. I was like, who wants to play? Okay, they type in the chat, until I figured out Zoom and how to do that. Now you guys have all this fancy stuff, and I can't handle that stuff. I'm simple. I'm simple.
It's not much different than what you're doing, Big A.
I doubt that.
Let's go back up here to the panel. I'm trying to get El Toro on the show here. He was on the show, one of our inaugural shows, quite some time ago, Big AZ, and I know you know El Toro.
Well, those original guys, you gotta tip your cap to those original guys, because without those original guys, we wouldn't be here, for sure. Because I'm not an original guy. I mean, those original guys set the path, for us,
Right. All right. Is there anybody else in the panel here that wants to ask Big AZ anything before I go to another question for him? Because he is on a time frame today. He's got another 15 minutes with us. Anybody?
No.
All right. So let's go to this next question. Let me go back over here to the Q question. This question comes from Pip. I think that's how you're going to say that. Big AZ, let me just go ahead and put it up here so I can read it too, because I can't read it from this far back from the screen. It says, question for Big AZ, big fan of yours for years now. Thanks for the entertainment. I guess that's not really a question. That's really a comment. So I think everybody on here would probably say the same thing. And I know that.
Well, Jeff, I would say, in the beginning, and I shouldn't say any. I would say most times I'd look up any craps information because I was just looking for information, starved for information 4 or 5 years ago, right? I would say most of the time the person talked like I am right now, and it was so boring, and I couldn't believe it. And I'm really that boring in real life. I am this guy talking right now. Very boring. But if you're passionate about something, that comes out. And I'm very passionate about several things, and craps is one of them. And if you're passionate about it
shows.
Your real emotion and energy will show. And that's, you can't fake that. You can't, you just can't. So.
All right. Well, no, you're exactly right. On my show, sometimes I'm a character. I'm sarcasm. You've heard me on your show. Like today, well, go ahead and say it. I filmed with the Big AZ's new thing that he has coming out today, and what the video is probably maybe 4 minutes long before I went broke, Big AZ, and so if you guys are going to watch the one with the Jeff from Mid Atlantic Craps when he puts them out there at 9:30, it's only going to be a short video when he starts airing those. But I've recorded with you several times. We've talked off and on, and you know that I'm a pretty sarcastic type of person. And some people, when I record my videos, I kind of tone it down a little bit, and they want to know what's wrong. And really, being a YouTube content creator, you got to be entertaining as one of the things. And Big AZ, you may think that you're not, that fascinating to watch, but it's just incredible to watch you work those bets, and to see you, like you said twice in the past week, when you calculate your payments, you're not doing it by chips, this chip for that chip. You're actually doing the math in your head. And last night we had a bet that was kind of off, and Vince threw a number out there, and I think he was $1 off, but really it didn't make any difference because it was so large, because it was an off bet on the 6 or the 8. But it's incredible. We have had El Toro join us, and El Toro, if you turn your volume on and say hello to us, we've got Big AZ in here. We welcome you back. This is, I think, the second or third time you've been on the show. So if you want to hit your audio up and speak up, you most certainly can. Maybe he's like Mark. We'll see if he hits his audio. Yeah, he is muted. Yeah, okay, so we'll continue. Let me see. Anybody that has a question for anybody on the panel today, and on the panel, hopefully El Toro will get his audio taken care of. We do have him in. I'm honored to have him back. We have Ed from Roll to Win, Al from Texas Craps Shooters, Joe from Craps Master Journey, Churro from Midmo Yo, Old Bay Craps Craig, and oh, my good buddy, just an hour and a half away from me in Philly, Chris from Dice Dejan, and El Toro is there. Hopefully he'll get his audio fixed. Put a cue, and I'll be able to cue that up and come back and get that later. Let me see what John just put up here. Maybe we'll talk about this. I'm not exactly sure what he says. John says, he's answering to Blue Jay, who's been commenting. I haven't been able to catch up on him. He loves your channel, too. As Big AZ makes it accessible, gave me the confidence to do the channel. I love his real style. That's literally what it's all about. Bring the little boy of you out every day. And he's right. I mean, we've all watched you, and I give credit on my videos, Big AZ. I give my credits to you, basically from the Pound the Don't era, and I give credit to Jacob from Wager Me This, and several other people for my dice setting skills. Now I actually have to give props out to two people, and that would be Ed from Roll to Win, as well as George from CY. Yep, you're here, El Toro. Say hello to everybody.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey there, how are you? Right now we have... Yep, we have Big AZ from the Big AZ Craps Guru channel on as a special guest at the moment. He's got to go in about another 15 or 20 minutes, but we welcome you back, El Toro. Have you two ever met? No. No, actually,
No,
what
sir.
what El Toro did, what Big AZ said earlier is that you were one of the inspirations from the guys that got Craps started back in the day on the Craps channel. So how are you doing tonight, El Toro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I apologize if I got bad internet here.
Oh, you're
Coming through
fine.
good. Coming through good.
We're just talking. Big AZ's got to go in a little bit, and we'd had him on. I don't know if you've been following along with any of the what they call Friday night fights that's run on this channel here at the Casino Gaming TV Network, which of course is John from ProCraps put that together for us. But last night we had an awesome match. It was on Saturday, not Friday, but they actually went 36 rolls without a come out seven. I mean, without a 7 out, but they did have a come out 7 in the middle of the roll. And I was hoping to have the victor of that, the new King of the Mountain, on, but he's at a concert tonight, and Carl said he'll just rewatch the show later. So, does anybody else?
Make money at that one.
Well, you want to talk about it again, Big AZ? I don't think he does. Big AZ started out on the don'ts, although he recovered that first roll because if you're not familiar with the format, you get the $750 for 20 rolls, and then you get. Round one's over with, and you start over with $150 short stack on a $25 table for 10 rolls. You put all your chips together for the third round if you make it that far, and then you play out. And actually, it was an interesting match last night. Very, very informative, very entertaining, and I thought it was the best one so far. Not that anybody that's played before didn't do well. So in the chat at home, if you could put a queue for a question for any of these people on here, Big AC is going to have to go in a little bit. And I do have.
I'd rather ask El Toro some questions. You guys don't need to hear from me. El Toro is the man.
Go ahead, Big AZ.
I mean, do you constantly think of different strategies, or constantly think of roles in your head, like all day, like I do, or? Are you focused on craps all the time, or do you have other hobbies?
No, I focus on my family mostly.
There you go. Good.
That's my inspiration and why I do what I do.
What a great answer.
Nice.
Yes.
But on the flip side of that coin, yeah, I'm always thinking of different ways to maximize my money.
All right. Anybody else want to comment on that? I didn't know if you were to have a follow-up question, Big AZ. You kind of like left me hanging
there. He's one of the original OGs, of course, for us. I mean, none of us would be here. None of us would be here even talking about craps probably right now if it wasn't for El Toro and the original guys, for sure. There's no doubt. Thank you.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks.
That's very true. El Toro was always an inspiration early on.
Sounds like Ed. Is it Ed? Is that you?
That's Ed. That's who that is. It's Ed Roll to Win.
Roll to win.
I can't see that far. I finally got upstairs and I can't see that far without my glasses.
No, Ed got here early, and he's up there in the upper left-hand side. I devoted this time for Big AZ to come on, and we've talked about the 5 things that we said we were going to talk about. We have one left that we're going to talk about, AZ, before you got to go.
Keep going.
You want to
give Big AZ his time.
All right, no
awesome
problem.
Dude.
No, well, you are welcome back, and Big AZ knows he's welcome back on the show anytime. Yep, Big AZ, do you want to talk about the last thing we talked about, or you rather not bring that one up?
I don't know. I don't think. I think we're good. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I would say bubble. How about bubble craps?
Sure, go ahead.
I know. It just kills me. Kills me personally because I'm so damn stubborn, and then so frustrated.
Chat back up here. I put the chat back up here.
I saw it earlier. Yeah, I saw it earlier from Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Silver Fox Craps. Like and subscribe to that channel too. He's going live a lot as well. But yeah, the bubble crap. So if you're going to put a question in there, please, guys, I'm looking through some of these. I got to scroll back. Put a Q in front of it, and I will get to those when we move on from the show here. So anybody else that's on the screen want to say anything? Because you guys have been sitting here for almost 40 minutes. Some of you in the green room for longer than that.
AZ, I actually have one more question. A while back, you ended up posting a video you were on a bubble craps machine.
You want my phone?
And
No.
the
I don't
dice
like
ended up tilting sideways, and
Oh, yeah.
it ended up marking it as a 7. So I saw the chats in that video that you posted. What do you think about what happened there? You know, a lot of people were saying rigged. I'd love to hear your interpretation.
I've been trying to get to the bottom of this for 6 years. Is it rigged or not? I'll tell you, it's so frustrating playing that. Any kind of bubble craps, especially that red dice one. The dice were literally, the one was on its side and it read a 7. How many times, and I've told people this before, it might be 100% legitimate, which it very well probably is. What I mean by 100% legitimate is that there's no house edge, extra taken out, like a slot. But personally, I think there is an extra taken out, and this is just my interpretation. I have no knowledge of this. This is just what I think, and then you can let me know what you think. When that red die is leaning sideways on the shoot to win with the annoying lady, right? Sometimes it just flips back over. Sometimes it reshakes the machine.
Yeah.
And sometimes it flips over, or sometimes it's just no roll, right?
Yeah.
It's not consistent. Like if it always reshook it, I would live with it. But sometimes it just flips over and you're like, what the heck? And then other times it's like, okay, flip over, and then it doesn't do it. So is there a little bit of something going on when the one die is on its side and it has to decide if it should flip over or reshake? It's really suspicious to me. That's all I'm saying. The newer bubble craft machine.
I know I play bubble crafts quite a bit, and I find that the more people on a table, the easier it is to place the bets. The less people on a table, it seems like it takes your money left and right. That's my observation. Plus, with the dice twisting, like you say, AZ, big time. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say the newer bubble crap machines that they have now, the little individual one with the little small die, that's to me the best so far that I've seen. But so many of these other machines, the newer, like the inner block and the big stadium, you can't hedge. If you're on the don't, you can't end up hedging it after a couple of hits. Some of them don't even have hot bets. Like, they really cater to the amateur player. If you're trying to protect your bankroll in any way, they lock you out.
I do have a question here that somebody just popped up here, Big AZ, that want to know about the cash out button. I'm trying to get it up here from Pip again. You want to know, tell us about your love-hate relationship with the cash out
because
button.
This is the problem. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm on vacation, and I don't really care. And I start pressing to the moon, and I don't regress. And you'll see it every Sunday night on my channel. I have a Vegas video from Vegas on bubble craps, and you'll probably see the same damn thing tonight. You'll see me run it up and won't cash out. Probably. Yeah, I'm terrible. Learn from me, please. Don't do as I do. Because not only do I play it terrible, I have to end up rewatching it. So think of a terrible craps experience, and then you got to rewatch it. See how stupid you played.
No.
And then everyone else comments how stupid you played it. Yeah, it's fun.
Here's something that you might be able to relate to. John's just asked a question, and John, I'm going to be sending you a text here in a minute too. He wants to know that he would love everybody's opinion.
Oh yeah, love it.
Stadium craps.
Love it.
Yeah,
the
I
one
think
at
I heard you
Hollywood.
say that before.
Yeah. One at Planet Hollywood. Yeah, that's awesome because you can go with a huge group. I think it's 15 seats. It's like the Stadium Bubble Craps, 15-seater. And then on the screen, it's all touch screen, no chips. And then when it's your turn to shoot, on the screen it says, do you want to shoot, yes or no? If you hit yes, it locks your screen, blacks you out, and then you walk up to the craps table up on a platform, you and the dealer, and you get to shoot, and you have your own betting screen right there. Oh, it's fantastic. If you're there with a group of people, and it's only a $5 minimum during the week at Planet Hollywood. Now, Planet Hollywood's the only one I saw across the country. It's the only one like that I saw. There might be others. I'm sure there are others. I know there are others, but Planet Hollywood's the only one that I know of, unless somebody else knows of one.
All right. Well, John's other part of his question is where he said he was torn between that and the roll to win because he feels the roll to win takes jobs away from the casino. But I've not seen the stadium style. I misspoke the last show because I told Chris from Dice Degen that there was one, but it wasn't stadium style like what you guys are talking about. I haven't seen one yet, but it looks like it's very interesting. John showed some pictures on one of his channels.
If you think of the stadium bubble craps with the big white dice, right? The stadium that you play roulette, blackjack.
Right.
There's nobody working it. So actually this stadium craps actually has a dealer. So if you think of it that way, instead of them putting the electronic one in, no dealer, this has a dealer.
Yeah.
So if not two because they need a break or it rotates around, they rotate around. So if you think of it like that, I think it's the new version of the roll to win. Because the roll to win, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if people. Well, if we can get into that's a whole different issue for another day.
Well, maybe it will be. Maybe we'll have you back after the next time you travel. We'll leave it at that. That maybe you'll be able to tell us a little bit more about that. Guys, anything left for Big AZ? Any questions that we have here? Because we've got a couple questions in the chat that's related to CRAPS related and also for El Toro. So if anybody has anything out there they'd like to ask Big AZ while he's here. Unfortunately, we didn't get Carl from his competitor last night that took the reign away from the King of the Mountain. But it was an excellent show. Somebody speak up.
Just great content. Look forward to shooting with you if you come out in October with Mel again. I know we were able to.
Oh yeah, I saw you there. Yeah, you were with Mel.
Yeah, didn't get to meet you that time you were at the other end of the table, but
yeah, I came over to you. I thought I came over.
Yeah.
Didn't I come over to you? I thought I did.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And you said you had your channel, content. Right? Texas. Yep. Crap shooters, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice to see you again. Awesome.
Yeah, this first. He's the first time on the show. He's the first time here.
Oh, awesome! Welcome.
Yep.
I know he's a good shooter. Hang on, he's a good shooter. I know that for sure. I know that for a fact.
Okay. Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Look forward to shooting with you at some point. Hopefully sometime
All right, Jeff.
soon.
I appreciate having me on again.
Yep, no problem. I appreciate you coming on, Big AZ. And this show will go longer than you're live, but maybe when we get done, you'll still be live, and some of us will jump back in there too. Before you go, can I see if Skill wants to say anything to you? Because I totally forgot him, and he's still awake. So he's the creator of the show. Skill, would you like to say something to Big AZ before he gets out of here?
Big AZ, I love you. I love your passion. And. It's all about you and that love and hate relationship with that stick is just funny as all get out. So you're world famous for that. So you just keep doing what you're doing, and you always have our deepest loves for you
sure?
So
I thought you were going to say like 188 inside pressure or 164 inside pressure. I thought that's what you were going to tell me.
No.
Yeah, Dylan last night, AZ got mad at me because I was doing 44 inside pressure, like back to back to back, and I think he called on. He wanted to call me. He wanted to say something, but he didn't. Anyway, anything else for him, Dylan?
Yeah. So
I miss your broken window stuffs. Even I remember.
Oh man, that's the old stuff. Yeah.
There's stuff that's left behind that. Of different strategies that people now have still don't know what it is.
If you go back, go back to my old stuff. Just on the computer, it was just
Yep.
No, yeah. Anytime I would think of something, I just made a video. I didn't care if it was good or bad. I didn't even know what I was doing. I appreciate that.
Right. No, but there's a lot of different unique strategies that you came up with that people really need to recognize and look at, they can learn from. We all grow and spin off of different things, and so don't forget about those ancient things that we can build, that we can all grow and build upon.
A lot of bad stuff too, Skill. A lot of old bad stuff too.
Well, that's true. Today I was watching Jacob over at Wager Me This, and he actually said on some of his older videos that he doesn't even encourage people to play that way, which I was curious to hear him say that. But we're going to have him on in the near future here on a Craps Chat coming up, so I'll let him talk about that there. Somebody on the panel had a question. Big AZ's got to get ready to go. Who was it that had a question?
Yeah, just one more question. So, Big Izzy, when people are super chatting, what are you looking for? What's the criteria for them changing the game? Is there anything specific that, or just anything they call out?
I've had people have me throw it baseball style, the dice. I've had people tell me to throw left-handed. I've had people tell me to throw on one leg. I've had people say they want to see me use the Yahtzee cup. Want to see my dog. They want to see. I mean, you name it. I've had to say, or people have had to say things about other people they don't want to have to say, or have to sing something, or it doesn't matter. Anything really goes, unless you're in a title match and you're taking money from another player's rack into somebody else's rack. Other than that, it really is. It's really the show for the people in the chat. It really is. I don't really have any criteria. It really didn't. Awesome. Again, it just started. I've had ideas of competitions and challenges from when I started. I made a video with Crap Strategies Live probably 4 years ago. I'm like, he was in Vegas at the same time I was. And I'm like, we got to make a challenge video. Let's competition video. And we sat at the Bubble Craps at the opposite sides. I swear this is 4 or 5, maybe 5 years ago. I don't even know how long ago. We were at, oh my gosh, Cosmo, because they let you record back then. And we were at opposite ends of the crap machine. We both put $200 in. We weren't allowed to show each other till we posted the videos. And I put mine up on my channel. He put his up on his channel. And this was a competition video. Like I said, it had to be at least 4 years ago.
I remember.
Because I'm a very competitive person, I tried to bring out that competition because that fuels the fire, and you learn more, and you just, I don't know, just makes things better.
All right.
And it was real
well. Yep. Big AZ, real quick, you did mention a title match, so since I'm going to be on there tomorrow night, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. Well, you do have, as long as Slam shows up tomorrow night, it is a title match, correct?
Monday night. Slam, you and Bird Dog only.
Yep. Eddie, Slam, and me.
Yep.
So I'm probably the least favorite there. I think the money line would probably be, and the odds would be really way out there for me.
You don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen.
All right. Well, look, Big AZ, we appreciate you coming on. We know you got a live to do here in about another 12 minutes, so we're gonna let you get going. I thank you for coming on. You're welcome back anytime at all. Just jump in and let me know what you want to do.
Okay. Thanks, guys. You're doing a great job here, Jeff and Dylan. Good job. Thanks, everybody else. Everybody in the chat. Good luck.
Continued success.
All right. Thank you so much.
Good night, AZ.
Thanks.
Good night, buddy.
All right, guys. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on with the show, and I've just got to. Oops, I clicked the wrong button there. I've got to move things around a little bit, and we're going to go on. Let's go ahead, and we have some questions, guys. We've got one of the earliest YouTube content creators in the audience, El Toro. We've got one of the best dice setting people on the panel here with us tonight that at least I consider that way, and that is Ed Robinson. And we just learned that the Al from Texas Crap Shooters, I hope it's Al because that's what I'm calling you, that he can shoot the dice too. So just let's get some questions in for here for this panel. We're almost through our first hour, so just go ahead and put that cue in front of it, and I'll cue the question up, and we'll get to some of them. So I'm going to go back to El Toro since he's here with us. He's been probably 4 months since he's joined us. And El Toro, are you playing a lot lately, or are you still doing about what you were doing the last time we spoke?
I'm probably still doing about the last we spoke.
All right. So no, we actually
that told us a hell of a lot.
Ed, I take
that
it
really told me everything I ever wanted to know about El Toro right there. I'm still doing the same thing I always done.
Hey,
wrap it all up quick.
So Ed, I take it you and El Toro personally know each other?
No, never met.
Oh, you do not?
No.
Okay,
I'm a fan. I am just a fan.
I never meet him in Biloxi when I'm there.
And we gotta figure that out, El Toro.
No, I was in Texas. Now I moved up to the Midwest.
Uh-oh.
All right. Well, let's go. I've kind of skipped around the audience here. Ed, you've got the floor right now. Is there anything specific that you'd like to talk about?
Well, first of all, I want to say it's nice just to be on with El Toro, because he was one of the first channels that I watched consistently, because I felt like it was a good, honest channel. You know, it was just facts. It was just a rollout. It was his strategies versus the dice, and I really appreciated that as I was getting into my journey on this thing.
All right. Well, I would say the same. I've gone back and watched. I watched a few of his videos when he came on the show 3 or 4 months ago. But I've gone back, and everything that's still out there, El Toro. If you're getting any of the compensation from YouTube, it's probably part of me watching watching your videos.
I appreciate the 30 cents.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, the 33 cents won't even get you a cup of coffee now. Oops, sorry guys, I pushed the wrong button. Let me switch that back over, guys. I actually pushed the wrong button. I wanted to push that button there. There we go. So no, I appreciate that, El Toro. But you know, you cannot make a fortune being a YouTube content creator unless you have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I have a friend that runs a cruise blog, and he's pushing 250,000 subscribers, and he's currently, he and his wife, that's what they do full time. They cruise 3 weeks out of the year. It's amazing what the amount of money he says he makes. But on my channel, I give all mine back to my viewers and my subscribers. All right, panel, while we're still waiting to queue up some questions here, anybody have anything for any of you? Maybe El Toro, for those of you who don't know El Toro, any information you'd like to know?
Well, I'm just going to say off the bat, since I'm brand new here, I just subscribed to you, El Toro, because it's the first time I've heard your name. That's how new I am. So I've only been doing this since February. But great to meet you, and I look forward to watching your videos.
All right, great.
No worries. Thank you.
Hey, El Toro, I just brought in on the guest view. I just brought on John from CRAPS. I know you guys have had some combination. Good evening, John. How are you?
Yeah. Good. How you guys doing?
John, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, John. Good thing, brother. How you doing, man?
I'm
good to see you all. Sorry I'm a little late. I was actually kind of enjoying the show from just kind of kicking back and watching the action, so it's been good.
Well, you know, we always like to have you on too. I mean, this is sort of, you made this channel for all of us, and us that have shows like Dylan and I have here. We enjoy your coffee and craps in the morning, and I want to know, when are you going to start putting that your late nights on CRAPS out here on the CGTV, or am I watching it on CGTV?
You mean my dice practice?
Yes, with your brand new table that everybody's envy about in your garage.
Yeah. I mean, I could put it on this channel. I guess what I've been doing is I've been doing it on my CRAPS channel, but making the videos unlisted afterwards. But I could do it over here. I guess that's probably a fine place for it.
Dual stream.
I mean, the thing is, I could dual stream it, I suppose. Is it interesting? I don't know. There's like 8 people that care about watching me throw. So I figured I'm doing it because I want to make sure that every throw I do, when I'm doing 20,000 throws logged, thanks to Ed. Ed has assured me that I'm going to be humbled when I start doing this, but I figured, who wants to watch fat old Johnny throw 20,000 times? So I figured I'll do it, and I'll stuff it away in a corner somewhere. If you want to watch it, you can watch it. But this channel feels like it's maybe the wrong place for that. I don't know. I'll do it wherever you guys want me to.
It's at night, John, that watch you.
Yeah, right. It's the only time you get to see me live, right, Joe?
Yeah. That's the only time I can see you live, buddy.
Well, you know, John, you talk about that you have a few viewers that come out and watch you, but you know, you're recording it and you're documenting it. There's no editing. It's like George from CY. Some nights he has 2, some nights he has 12, and I can sit there and watch him. I typically fall asleep watching him throw. No disrespect because he's boring. It's really late here on the East Coast for me when he goes out.
No, for me, same. I love George too, but like I get to him at midnight is when he starts from my time, midnight. That's the perfect time to just drop the headphones on and just hear. It's like, to me, like my favorite nap time thing is NASCAR and baseball. Like I love baseball, but what a great napping sport both of those are. And because it's that constant like hum of the crowd, like the hum of the cars. George throwing the dice is the same thing. It's like 6, 2, 8. Ah, damn it. You know, he just calls them out and just like, yeah, it's just good night.
Therapeutic.
It's therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Very much so.
Well, It's like I was talking before the show with Ed, and Ed said that he's not going live anymore because there's so much live stuff going on. But I could sit there and I just listened to Ed talk about what he's doing, not necessarily the betting style, but just what he's doing with the dice is incredible. I like it because for the most part he sticks with one set of dice, where George is constantly changing the dice set, and I got to hold dice up, and let's turn the dice around, trying to figure out what he's talking about in order to be able to learn it. So Ed says, I have you here. Here's a question from Duracell for you that I'm going to put up here on the screen. He wants to know if you missed or if you regretted not playing with Michael Feldman in Kansas City. I'm not sure what's going on. Don't know if that's a loaded question, but that's a question from Duracell.
Of course, I regret it, but unfortunately, I wasn't invited, so I can't really regret anything I wasn't invited to, right? I mean, they had a hell of a roll. They had a hell of a session up there on a private table. Crazy. Michael is really good. When he gets on a roll, he's really strong. So yeah, I wished I was there. I just didn't get the invite. I don't know that I could have made it. I do have I am invited to a private table session in September. So I'm looking forward to that. Not with Michael, but with some other guys.
Well, let's move on. Before I get back to some of the questions here, Chris from Dice Degen, he's actually looks like he's hard to keep his eyes awake. Chris, that was an excellent box man last night. I wanted to let you know, excellent job you did last night. I mean, I think watching it sitting back, and I was sitting like right now I'm standing. What you and Chris from Sideshow did was just incredible. You had two great talents on there. Carl clearly is a wizard at math and did very well. So, how are you doing tonight?
Doing great. Yeah, that was a great show last night. Big shout out to AZ and Carl for a great match. I think Chris from Sideshow needs a special shout out. That dealing last night was, I mean, that was beautiful. That was like art, to be honest with you. Watching that was great. I didn't have too many questions for AZ because we were chatting before last night. We were chatting afterwards. So I figured I'd let the rest of the panel get some time in with him. But that was awesome. If you're dealing next week and you want me to box, you know where I am. I will be available to box. I like boxing. It's fun, especially with those two. They keep the bets relatively easy, which makes Chris's life a little bit easier, makes my life a little bit easier because, you know, the math is relatively easy. But some of those prop bets, they'll have you sitting there with a calculator in your hand trying to figure out what kind of bet we're placing here and there. But you know, it's a good time. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the heads up matches. You know, they're great on Fridays. If we get more people in the queue, that means we can do more matches. So I'm gonna plug it for John. Hopefully he doesn't get mad at me.
Thank you.
CasinoGaming.tv/heads up. If you're in the audience, there's 45 of you here now because I see some of you saying I'm multitasking. Yes, I have the YouTube stream up also. There's 45 of you here. Go log in and sign up to play. It's fun. All right. I promise it's fun. We'll make it fun for you. So get in there and get signed up.
Chris, are you signed up?
I am not because I am involved.
He's not signed up.
I'm involved, all right? You should have known not to ask me that, all right? But no, I'm involved, so I don't want to be potentially causing conflict if for some reason there's no availability and I'm supposed to be playing, just so if I need to deal, if I need to box or whatever. So you won't see me play there, but if you want to see me play, there will be some more lives with a special guest if people want to see it. So it's in some of my videos. I've plugged it. If you want to see the King of the Dark Side, go look at my videos. You know what to do. Run the numbers up. Greg wants to see the numbers go up, and then you'll see some more Greg and I playing live on my channel.
Yep. Well, I really appreciate it last night, and John hasn't told me if I'm going to be able to deal next week. I really would like to, but I need somebody strong in the box.
I'm not dealing.
No, you're not. But you know, John, if you want Anthony to deal because he does it, that's fine with me. You know me, I'm not the.
It doesn't matter.
I really want.
You can totally deal it, Jet. No, you do it. If you can stand, you can deal.
Yeah, well, I'm standing right now.
And
by
the only
way.
reason why I'm in the competition, Yeah, the only reason why I'm in the competition, by the way, is not, I don't want to be a part of it either, but I was demonstrating to people how to sign up, and I signed myself up live. So that's why I'm in there. And it was like, I was like number 11 in the list when I did that, so I didn't think it was going to actually matter, but here it is.
No, I think it's great.
So,
I think
anyway,
it's great that you're going to play.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Get signed up. It'll be fun. By the way, I suck in tournaments. Tournaments is hard. Tournament play is not my wheelhouse at all. I play in the co-op tournament, and I get my ass kicked every single time because I just don't have the tournament mindset, I guess. I don't know. So
I'm going to wait a few
it's
more
hard.
months before
It's a whole different way of playing craps.
Yeah, I'll wait a few more months before I put my name up there. I said when we were testing it, I played like 4 or 5 times. Dylan and I did. But in any event, Chris, thank you. You did mention something about Greg, and I don't think that John was here earlier. So, John, I'm going to pop this up here on the screen real quick. Your audio might go out, but Greg sent me this today. He sent me this, and he said, Jeff is injured. Who's going to run the show now? Oh,
my God.
Yeah,
Greg is watching. I can tell you that. I know for a fact he's watching.
I know he's watching,
Yeah. He told me.
So he's watching.
He told me earlier in the week he was going to watch. I told him he could come on the show. He's welcome to come on anytime. And then he communicated because he heard that I was injured. But so far I'm doing all right standing up here at the moment doing what we're doing. So let's go around. Churro, I did your Here's the Deal for today. We got maybe some people that don't normally see Here's Your Deal. So that was part of my pre-show. So have you had any reaction back? Because I haven't looked at the comments from earlier.
As you mean on mine, the comments, I've had a lot of comments on it, and I'm waiting to respond to them because I wanted to see all the the comments, but I'm going to go back tonight after the show, and I'm going to go through and comment on it, which will basically be my answer to Here's the Deal. So
all right, let
but
me
I do
switch back over.
Put that on there. That was really nice of you. Thank you.
No problem. No, what I'm trying to do for the people that come in late is I come on 15 minutes ahead of time. Dylan's not even here. He wasn't here today when I got started, but I do a 15-minute show because for those of us that do live shows, you go live, takes a couple minutes to get 3 or 4 in there. By the time notifications go out and people bring their phone down or their tablet or whatever, push the notification to get on, you get people after about 8 to 10 minutes. That's the reason why I'm doing the pre-show. So far, it's worked out pretty good. So I'm going to switch over here. The screen's switching around now. Maybe. Ed, did you want to have something to say?
I don't know if El Toro's ever going to do any more content.
Contest? Was that?
There you go. Great question.
Content.
Content, yes, El Toro.
Is El Toro going to do any more content?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
I
you.
will be. I will be. No, I will be. I think I talked to John about it once. When I moved up here, my table got all just jacked up. So I'm still waiting on my pieces, which they finally fixed them. Now I
don't know what part of the Midwest you're in, but I'm going to be up in the Midwest, Indiana area, October.
All right. Yeah, no, I moved to Minnesota.
That's not the Midwest. That's the North.
Oh, Northwest. Okay.
That's the North.
It's North.
You can't go much further north without going into Canada, dude.
Yeah. Well.
What part of Minnesota?
Yeah, because
basically right there in Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah. How far is that from you in Wisconsin, Joe?
They have an airport.
About a 5.5 hour drive.
All right. Well, El Toro,
I do want to say thank you to Joe. Joe, believe it or not, I did watch your channel, and I do watch your channel.
Thank you.
And I saw your video that you did on my one of my strategies.
Yes.
Pretty good. I liked it.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we got your attention there, El Toro. Sorry about that. I'm going to put a question out here for you. This one comes from Dice Dr. Dan. He wants to know, do you play craps for a living? I think we probably know the answer to that, but maybe you can kind of like a little bit of commentary on that answer and why you either do or you don't.
Yeah, no, not anymore. Now I work as the order taker there at the Chick-fil-A lines.
I'll take a number 1, please, with a large unsweet iced tea.
No extra.
All right, here's another
Extra
question while you're
Churro.
still here.
That plug for Chick-fil-A. Yes, I do.
Sponsored by. Here's another question for you. It comes from Biff, and he wants to know how many days a week would you go to the casino in your active periods when you're constantly playing. I guess is what he means by active periods.
3 days a week.
3 days a week. All right. Great answer there. I think I had one more for you in here. I'm going to save the one about the bankroll for all of us when we get back. I thought I saw one here. Here's one more. Dice Dr. Dan put one in here. Let me put this up here, and then we'll move on from that. El Toro, you let your wife shoot every once in a while, or does she play too?
I know she shoots every now and then too. Lately, she's kind of sucked.
Well, I did hear.
Unless she doesn't play the damn slots. The vig on a wife, man, can be high.
So the answer is question.
She doesn't like CRAPS.
Yeah, in my headset, it kind of said that she does shoot from time to time. It could have been my headset. So I don't know if you all heard that, but his answer was yes. But here lately, she's not been doing very well. I won't re-put it the way that he put it. So there's a couple questions. Let me get back over to our panel because we're already into it past the first hour of content. Let's see, Joe, you had the floor. So was there anything you'd like to mention?
I have a new series coming out this week. It's going to be on dice shooting. I've been working on shooting for a while, but I really want to start really focusing on it. So I'm going to be putting out my information. I did a lot of research the last couple of weeks. No Ed Robinson. I'm no George from CY. So I want to make this a journey for everybody. So, when I put the videos out, make sure you leave comments, guys, suggestions, things that you do to improve your shooting style and your results thereof. So that's the new series coming out. I hope with Tuesday I'll have an introductory video, and I'm going to be breaking everything down, everything from dice sets to grips to landing zones to everything, stuff that I have researched and found on the internet, on people's YouTube channels, that type of stuff. I'm by no means an expert at it, but this is my journey to become hopefully closer to becoming an expert on it. Someday maybe I'll be an Ed Robinson or a George for CY. Highly doubtful, but you never know.
Well, that's
I do
because
have one
it's your.
question for John, though.
Sure, go ahead.
Are we able to bring back the dealer section on casino gaming?
At some point, yes. Right now, Anthony has switched jobs, so he's no longer an active dealer.
Okay.
So not appropriate to have him running that segment. He wants to contribute, but that's not the right segment for him now. So now we're looking for other folks that are active dealers that I want to have in that slot.
Okay. I was kind of wondering what happened to that because I really was looking forward to that section of casino gaming.
It was literally like the week after we started it, just the way that it worked out. He was living in California and driving to Vegas every week and being in Vegas for 4 days to work full time, and had his wife and kid back in California. So that whole thing, not conducive to what El Toro was saying, putting family first. And he's like, yeah, I just can't do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back and do the old job, maybe do some dealing in California at some point. But for right now, it's the best move for him.
All right, let's move on. We've got the last two on the panel. Then we're going to get to some questions, which is all around CRAPS questions. So El Toro and Ed, if you'll hang in there for us, that would be great because your knowledge and experience and education in the game certainly far exceeds mine. We'll go to two new CRAPS channels. Let's go down to Craig, who's right. I wouldn't say he's my neighbor, but he's probably 2.5 hours away here in Maryland. Craig from Obey CRAPS. Craig, how are you?
Hey guys, how you doing? I'm doing well, very well.
All right. And I see that you've got a couple videos out. You've kind of like collaborated a little bit with with Chris over at Sideshow Gamble. So it seems like you're getting into the feel of how to produce videos and get them out.
Yeah, I'm learning everything I can. I just started learning about editing, and I wish I knew more because I've been uploading this one video for the last 3 hours. It's taken a while because it's 47 minutes, but it's if you whoever was on the if you were on the Pay It Forward live, you heard me talk about this week's I just finished the series on learning craps for beginners. I'm moving on to another series, really fun one called, it's based on movie themes. I picked 5 movies that I love to watch and turn them into strategies. And I'm actually, the one I'm uploading right now is debuting tonight. It's my Godfather strategy called Five Families, the Fall of Vito, the Rise of Michael. It's a hybrid strategy. And I'm playing around with the movie theme stuff. And I'm naming all the bets to characters in the movie. So I hope you like it. It's fun to play. I don't know if it's really something that I would play in the casino. Maybe I would, but I'm random rolling it. So, I've rolled it out a few times, random rolling it, and doing that, I've won and I've lost. And you just have to wait to see the video to see what happened with this one. I know that if I was dice setting, I probably would last a little bit longer. But I won't name the other movies that I'm doing. I'll let the videos speak for themselves. But the Godfather one is debuting tonight.
All right. Great. I mean, I really like your content. It's really so hard to keep up with everybody's content that comes out, even though I was on my back last week and I just didn't have time to catch up on all the content. So I appreciate that, Craig. And you and I have talked a little bit, and any help you may need. I think John may say the same thing I'm getting ready to say. If it's having a problem uploading, stop the upload and just restart it again. I'm not sure if you're doing it from your phone, 100%. You're doing it from a computer, but stop it, and it'll pick right back up where it left off. That's about the only thing Google's good at, and sometimes it just kind of hangs up there. So it shouldn't take that long, depending on your connection. 47-minute video for me here is about 22 minutes for me to upload.
No, and I just want to give a little shout out to John. He's been very supportive, and we've talked once before about, that he wants to grow the community. We want to grow the community. We want live tables to stay. And the more people that put out channels and put out content, the more it's going to grow.
Yep,
so thank you, John.
100%.
I think
100%. It's funny. On this same, go ahead, Jeff.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, on that same note, I was talking to Chris, Dice DGen, and we were kind of like over text, like comparing our statistics. And like my channel, both of my channels have the exact same demographic. Like YouTube gives you a lot of information about who's watching your channel. So I am 100% male and like 85% 55 and older. Like I'm literally getting me as my user, which makes sense, right? You're going to appeal to yourself, right? But Chris, and like, why the hell isn't Chris's channel growing? Like why Sideshow and DGen? Why are you guys like stuck at these like level?
And me.
Your channel, I think I mean, same thing, right? So Chris, I'm looking at his numbers and he's at like 80%, 35 and below. He's 100% hitting the younger crowd, which for some reason isn't coming to YouTube to find craps content, right? So it might be we need to start helping Chris go not TikTok, but maybe more Twitch, and where his age is looking for shit. Like that might help a little bit too. But like, I think it's interesting. I think that Chris and you and Sideshow are the keys to keeping this game growing. Because as we know, it's an older person's game right now. At the tables, there are younger people. But so we don't see tables go away in favor of roll to win. They need to be filled. And frankly, the younger guys don't have a whole lot of money for the most part, right? So getting those low bankroll strategies out there and appealing to that younger demographic, I can't do it. The younger people don't want to watch me, clearly, because of what my channel stats show me. But Chris and Joe, you guys might be in a very unique position to hit a whole different audience than the rest of us are hitting. I think that's something we shouldn't be treating like as a joke. It's legit. I don't know how the answer for it, but I think as far as growing the community goes, that's something that we need to be. When I saw your stats, Chris, my eyes were like, holy crap! Like, how do we fix that? Because it's interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. So it's funny. I was going to actually ask you about Twitch, but I'll text you on the side about that. I did start posting some things on TikTok. I personally hate TikTok. I really do.
Dude,
if I'm
what do you do on
there,
TikTok? You take your shirt off and throw the dice naked? I mean, what? How can you make TikTok fun?
That's what I'm going to have to do. But I mean,
don't give me any ideas, John.
I mean, just like, let me know. Throw the dice, right?
I'll take my shirt off and start chucking dice around the table.
Just put a white hat on and wear a square bill on it, and you'll be fine.
I'm gonna start using the bankroll like an Adam and Eve cross.
Well,
There you go. There you go.
I'm gonna jump in here, and although my channel is medium growth, I'm slowing down. I'm just under a 1.5. But what I've done, John, is the same thing as you. We promote everybody as best we can. Even I hear Churro talk about go out and like and subscribe to these channels. And what I've done over the past couple months is I've done dual streams on both channels, and I've been the one that's been doing it. I've done it with Mike over at On Point. Chris and I have done some things. Both Chris's, Chris Dice Degen and Chris from Sideshow Gamble. We've done it, and we're trying to promote the best that we can. And if you're a subscriber on one of our channels, you should subscribe on them all. So if you're out there watching, if you're one of the 50 people that are watching now, you've got. Everybody on here is a YouTube content provider, and I want to get to the person that just joined, but I want to give Al over at Texas Craps Shooters an opportunity to say something. So unmute your mic because the question's coming to you next to Al. But, Chris, you and I have talked a lot. We've talked technology. I even surprised you on one of your live rollouts. I was rolling it out while you were rolling it out. I brought you on my show and I recorded it. Then I showed it back the next day. So, kind of keeping the unedited theme going there where you guys are really great at editing your videos. But I think we just all push it because if it wasn't for people like down there on the corner left there, if it wasn't for El Toro, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now doing what we're doing. So let me give Al from Texas Crap Shooters, then we're going to go to Greg, then we got to get to some questions. So Al, welcome, first time. What do they used to say on the Rush Limbaugh show? Long time listener, first time watcher or something? Ed, did you say something?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Yep. All right. So is it Al? First of all, am I calling you the wrong name?
Al's fine. Alfredo's fine as well.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome. Tell us a little bit about your channel.
Yeah. Good to be here. I've been playing craps for probably 20 years. Predominantly has been really at the same casino for the most part over at the Orleans. I think this next trip I'll become an Onyx member there. And I learned a lot from a lot of the Hawaiians that played because they fly Hawaiians in. And now I get somewhat the same sort of status as they have like a Macy's reward over there where they give you free money if you play a certain amount of tier credit over time. So typically my average bet, if I can get between 170 200 for 4 hours, I'll get the $800. That's free money. It's not a free play. It's cash or chips. And I just really, started getting more serious about the game and taking it from probably much lower bankroll starting than I was recently. I was happy with, a couple $1,000 wins. And as I've elevated the game play, I've now seen $10,000 wins, $18,000 wins, and you do see some losses, but I try to stay within my bankroll and within the system that I have, and I've tried to perfect my craft of shooting so much so that I bought a 14-foot crap table to practice on, and so just really trying to keep as everyone else is here, keep the game going, I love the different content that's out there, and I'm just trying to collaborating a little bit more with the Craps Hawaii crew. So you'll see me on their filming. I'm working with the casino to get the final approval, and they'll be joining me on my filming. So I'll have my first hopeful filming coming up here, probably September, October. Cool. That will be released thereafter of a live Craps filmed at a casino. So.
Well, that's great.
More to come.
Brian was with us a little earlier. I don't know that he's still here because he was talking about being 4 a.m. out at his time or something. I can't remember what he said. But I did add you guys. I'm going to switch it up there at that bottom thing you see. I added a couple new Craps Chat channels there, and you are the one that's going to scroll across there last. So anybody that's out there that's watching, if you have a channel and I don't have it listed, all you got to do is just send me an email at jeff@midatlanticcraps.com. Don't put it in the chat because I'll forget it by 2 weeks from now in order to be able to add it. But if you would, just go ahead and send it out there to that. So now, before we move on to the questions, because we got some really good questions here, you guys probably can't see what the header is at the bottom there, so I'll take this off just so you can see. My good friend Greg from Fives is here, 555. Greg's welcome.
Hey, Jeff. Good to see everybody. How's the group doing? We have a very distinguished panel I see here.
We have a great panel tonight.
You're funny, Greg. Thanks.
and we actually have some questions up there. But Greg, I really appreciated it today when you sent me the picture. I think I think Chris said you've been watching, so I'm gonna put this back up here real quick. You sent me that picture right there, and it kind of made my day. I don't want to leave Archie Bunker up there too long. I don't want to make it about me, but I really appreciate everybody. I got probably a dozen text messages, a couple phone calls, and some emails making sure everything was okay. And unfortunately, when you get to my age, things happen. I didn't. It was a true accident. It wasn't me like falling over and can't get up. But let's just say I took a little spill. So with that said, how about we get to some questions? Is everybody ready to get to some questions?
Yeah,
okay, I'll take that as a yes. I'm going to go back to, I don't know if Joe Ramos is still here. By the way, Joe was the winner of the Mid Atlantic Craps Pay It Forward, and he donated the money to whenever John decides to hold the Cure for Craps Crapsathon or show, whatever it's going to be. Mid Atlantic Craps has got $250 coming to you from my channel. I use my monetization and give it back to the viewers and subscribers. John, fortunately, or I guess really gratefully, they gave it back to you. So let's put a question up here from Joe. I don't know if he's still here or not, but Joe says, how do you players maximize your bankroll or your money? So I'd like to start with El Toro first, and then go to Ed, and then we'll see what else anybody else wants to talk up. So did you get the question there, El Toro?
Yeah, I got it. So how do you maximize your bankroll or your money?
Yes.
That's actually a pretty good question. So the way I maximize mine is, first off, I would say don't overbet your skill. That to me is a big mistake that I see all the time. As you grow in your journey and as you grow in the way you play, be cautious of how much you're putting up on that table. Sometimes your confidence gets the best of you. And then, for me, the way I do it is I always personally, I regress. The best thing I think I've ever done so far was my regress to press. Get off that game right off the bat. And it's not because you're scared, it's because you're smart. Then know when you're going to start playing with your profits. That's how I do it. Yeah. And I just grow it every time. Every time I go to the casino, I pull back money and grow it little by little by little. And then you got to use your brain. Don't go all in.
All right. Excellent advice. I'm going to kick that over to Ed. And for those of you that want to ask a question, put a Q in front of it, please. That way I can search it really fast. Ed, go ahead and give us your thoughts. Do I need to put it back up there?
No, you're fine. How do you maximize your bankroll?
Yes.
The main thing is don't overbet, like you said. I would say, number one, don't believe everything you see on YouTube. Number two,
amen.
I mean, all right. For example, and everybody talks about regression, but when you talk about betting 640 across or some crazy number, and you want 2 hits and you want to regress to 96 across, I'm like, what the hell do you want to do that for? You risk way more than you're just going to regress to, which is now at risk. You've got to be very careful. Number one, YouTube is an entertainment medium. Some of it's educational and entertaining. Be very careful what you think will happen, because what you think will happen usually does not. So don't overbet the randoms, don't overbet yourself. And we're all guilty of that at times, but you've got to monitor that bankroll and monitor your own emotions and what you're doing in order to build that bankroll. I remember the first time I won $10,000, I was like, I'm in the money. This is great. And my wife says, what are we going to do with it? I said, well, that's now my bankroll. And every time I go and I come back, I want to pay off a bill, anything over 10. If I come back with less than 10, I got to build it back to 10. So you set a goal, whether it's $4,000 bankroll or a $5,000 bankroll, that's your number. And everything over that should go to pay off something. And then but if you come in under that, then build it back to that. Got to be careful. You got to be careful.
All right. I'm going to go to Skill. Skill, why don't you take that question, and how do you maximize your bankroll?
Yeah, I completely agree with the two gentlemen. You have to. It's discipline. It comes back to the very keys and the foundation of everything. So you've got to have that discipline to and have a game plan, and it's money management. It's just that simple, in a nutshell. So I do. I love the aggression. And the regression, the regression. So going like from 110, and then it pays 30. One hit pays 35. You can go back down to 22. If you're at a $5 table, or take 2 hits and do 44 and lock up a profit. I mean, that's what the Skill 66 is all about. Is just is trying to maximize your return and risking as little as possible. With 66. Inside, you get your first hit, then it pays 21. You drop $1, and then it looks like 88. And so, but once that you get that second hit, then you can regress, and lock up all the money that you've got, and still have a small profit. So the 7's not going to knock you out at that point, and then you can go at your pace. You can do what you're stress-free gambling at that point. So it's just knowing. That's part of money management. Is just knowing what the different things, and knowing the different options that you've got, and you've got to play smart. So there's you can't go on tilt, like these gentlemen are saying. So you can get a big boy pants and big boy head, and oh yeah, I've got this mastered, and they're going to eat you. They're going to eat you alive. So you got to be careful. Your head's got to be in the game. You can't be drinking. You got to be focused. There's just so many minutia things that it all builds upon. It's a foundation that builds upon itself and builds upon itself and builds upon itself. But that's what we all teach and preach. So that's my opinion on that.
All right, I'm going to go to Greg to see how he. I know you don't have your channel anymore, Greg, but you certainly have played for 30 plus years. How did you handle your maximize your bankroll?
Well, the best advice I could give you in this is to play low volatility craps. Now, that's one of the reasons why I play the don't so much, because I don't want wild swings. Now, everybody loves the wild swing when they're doing well, but wild swings to your bankroll kill you and they drive you to zero. So 2 pieces of advice I'll give you is, 1, play low volatility craps. Don't play wildly. And the second is, you want to play at a low table limit. The lower limit, the better. It gives you some place to run to. So in case you need to weather a storm, you protect your bankroll by having some place to go. I play, if you guys watch the 555 don't, I typically play at a $25 level with a $30 odds bet. So that's 55 on the table. But I got to tell you guys, I prefer to play at a $5 or $10 table, because I want to have some place to go if the you-know-what hits the fan.
All right. Well, I'm going to kick it up to John. I know that John has talked money management many different times throughout the past, I guess, 15 or 16 months, however long it's been, John. And you came out with, your Churro management. You came out with your discussion of money management with the 401g. You've traveled a lot, and I like the way that you talk about where you and your wife go and travel together, and you both enjoy different casino games. But you have a way of money management.
You know me, I'm all about small goals. I play a short game. There are times when I go to play for hours and stuff, but most of the time it's a short deal. When I went to Vegas this last time, on my buy-in, I brought 5,000 with me, and I bought in for $500, and I bought in for $500 at like 11 sessions in a row. And every session I made 180, whatever it was. I worked that $500, like a dog. The same $500, and that's the way I do it. I don't need to bring 5K and buy in for 5K so I can bet. But if I did have some enormous bankroll, I think your buy-in determines your your spread. And 640 across is not scary when you buy in for 5,000 and you have another 100,000 backing you, but I don't. Right? I have like Ed was saying, I have $10,000 backing me. I brought 5,000 with me. Well, $500 is what I'm willing to put at risk, and $100 is what I'm looking to win. I'm happy with that. If I can make 100, and what I would normally do is make 150, and then work that 50. And that's how I respect my bankroll, because I work too hard for it. As you know, I'm a teacher. I don't make a ton of money, so every dollar I put out there hurts. And even though my gambling account is separate money that I could light on fire and it wouldn't affect my house, I still don't like parting with it. So to me, every dollar I spend, I respect. And I think it's important to remember that. So if I'm in Vegas or if I'm at Tulalip here in Washington, I respect what I brought, and that's how I look at it.
Yep, that's really a good analogy for. That's how you really burn money. I didn't know that, John. That's how they did it in Seattle. So. But that's my joke. My joke of the night. Joke of the night, as my dog brings in a toy that tells me she's ready to go outside. I think that Dr. S put something up here, and in his opinion, he says, time equals time on the table equals risk, and I think that's really great. So let's move on to another question. Let's keep this going, and let me switch back over here to the queue. Drop back down here to quite some time ago. Let's see here. We've already done that one. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. I queued up several. Well, this is going to switch back to YouTube talk. So let's real quick get this one out of the way, since Chris did such a fine job last night. So the question comes from Chris over at Sideshow Gamble, and I don't know that he's still here. To the panel members, what is your favorite strategy on YouTube right now? So I'm going to kick it back to, let's start out there with Chris from Dice Degen. Looked like he was biting at the chomp to answer that one. I know
Chris has got an answer for this one.
My favorite strategy is actually not on YouTube. It's a teaser. Okay. It's coming out this week. It's my new favorite, though. However, if I had to pick, I'm going to have to go with my buddy, the Velveteen Rabbit. I have been rolling this out for a week now, and I absolutely love it. I actually played at the casino this morning, and I played it at now, Greg will probably not be too happy to hear this, but I didn't buy in for 2,500, but I did play it at the 50 lay 4 320 across level, and I hit my win goal very quickly, and I left the casino, and it was fantastic. So
good job.
Right now, that is probably my favorite. If it's not a big bankroll, though, I guess I like my DJ triple threat a little bit too. I like that one.
Well, let's move on. Let's just get a couple more answers, and we'll let Craps Master Journey Joe go. He's done an awful lot of rollouts of strategies. So, Joe, what do you think?
I've done a ton of strategies, and almost too many to pick from. But actually, I've been doing a lot of bubble craps lately. I've been exploring some of Wayland's strategies, and growing up in the YouTube world, I actually started learning from Jacob from Would You Read This, and he was big on the Iron Cross, his 6, 7, 8 strategies, stuff like that. And Wayland just came out with his Wayland's Iron Cross, which I love the strategy. It's my style of play, but I cannot afford the bankroll. Hence the reason I go into bubble craps for that. So I can stick with the $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 bets and ladder up from there. Versus going with the $25, $50, $100 bets, and my bankroll is so small at this moment that it's hard for me to progress past that. Like Wayland says, bankroll is a big thing for your strategy. People lose because either they get dumb or they don't have enough bankroll to continue on with the strategy. So I've been using that quite a bit at the casino, and successfully. I've been hitting my 30% win goal, and I'm out away from the table usually. Last night not so much, but or 2 nights ago not so much, but other than that, yeah, it's been pretty successful there.
All right, well, let's let Craig from Obey Craps answer this, and then we'll move on to another question.
I'd say right now, I don't really have a favorite per se, because it's still all new and I'm taking it all in from everybody. But I do like a smaller strategy for a lower bankroll. Even a simple 6 and 8 strategy that just eventually spreads to the rest of the box numbers. Because I've from listening to tons of advice from you all, and I think John said it before about get in, get out. And when you can get in and get out and your money on the table is already paid for, that becomes fun, because then you can start pressing and regressing, however you'd like to, watching the trend happen. If a guy's rolling a ton of 8s, you're like, oh, this is fantastic. Now you're just pressing up maybe 1 or 2 numbers, not everything. But when it's already paid for, that's the best. You know, my favorite kind of strategy to play, I guess, in practice sessions is really the Dice Dr. Dan's 440, but with my twist, because I don't know why, when you're a beginner, and I'll be honest, any beginner out there, stay away from the prop bets. Just work on your 6-8 and your pass line or don't pass, and be happy with that, because you can make money with that and make a win goal off of a $200-300 bankroll. But I do like the hard ways and the horns, so I like a good strategy that involves almost everything on the table.
All right. So let's move on to another question here, unless somebody else wants to ask it. Looks like we missed one for Big AZ. So Duracell, we're going to have to pick that up on another question another time. I'm sorry, I just saw that one as I scrolled down there. And also, Duracell, I'm not sure what your chat meant about your journey and experience. I'm not sure who that was for. So if you put in the chat who that question was for, I'll be glad to put that in there. Let's see. I'm going to put this up here. I haven't read the whole thing, but let me put this up here because it's pretty long. A question from Albright says, after a great roll on the table with other players, how many players have tipped you all at once? My personal record is 4 players at once. I can just say I've only been tipped 3 times by only 1 player at a table. Anybody else in the, you all heard my Atlantis story where the guy tipped me a purple chip after I had a great roll, but he also balled in for $5,000 too. But anybody else in the audience ever had that happen?
I have never had anybody tip me, and I don't know why, but Missouri, at least the 2 casinos that I go to regularly, I don't even see players tip the dealers all that much. I'm usually the number 1 person tipping whenever I'm there. And I don't know why that is. I think it's weird. Maybe it's because they're losing a lot. I have no idea. But yeah, I've never been tipped before.
All right. Ed, you see some big rolls when you're shooting. Yeah. Have you been tipped before, Ed?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Reluctantly, he says.
Not a lot. But yeah. You know, I've had guys that were betting yos that I was hitting. Then they would, you know, they were doing $100 yos and they'd throw me a little bit. That was kind of fun. But you know what I did was I gave it to the dealers. When they tipped me, I gave it to the dealers. Made a dealer bet. So, you know, it's hard to get. It depends on where you're at, but it's hard to get a lot of tips these days. Everybody's tight.
Yep.
Yeah, at the Orleans, once I was tipped by 5 different people after a huge roll that I had. But that wasn't the most I ever got tipped. One time when I got tipped by 3 players, one guy gave me $1,000. That was because he made, I think, over 44,000 or 50,000 off my roll.
Wow!
And it got him unstuck. He was stuck. He said 21,000 marker, and that got him unstuck, and he gave me a $1,000.
Oh, nice!
Wow! Yeah, I got.
You know,
I
I've seen more recently. Okay, Jeff.
Go ahead, John. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I've been tipped a few times, and by somebody we all know here once. But more recently, I've been having players bet for me while I'm throwing, which is weird. Like I don't pay attention to it, but I've heard a couple of, you know, whatever, yo for the shooter, as I'm shooting, and I don't play the ATS all that often, so I see like I'm 1 away from the ATS, and I don't always bet it, so people kind of drop me a bet. I don't know, that's weird, but I guess if I'm rolling if I'm on a certain number and I'm not aware of it because I'm too focused, I've had that happen more than once, and that's more of a recent thing than an old days kind of a thing.
You know, the old tips used to come pre-COVID, seemed like. but I've had, you mentioned that I've had people bump my pass line up before. I've had people bump my ATS up several times. Maybe I went $10. They took me up to 15, or they took me up to a quarters, that kind of thing. So, it's different ways to tip a shooter. I keep thinking of the hand-in shooters after you've hit a point or you've hit a lot of your rolls ended, that kind of thing. But there are other ways to tip a shooter, and that's to up a bet for a shooter.
Hey,
Yeah.
if you all haven't
like
seen
what's on
Ric
screen
Flair's
here.
last match, you need to.
I didn't know who that was. Was that Joy?
Yes,
Yes,
Joy.
that's Joy. Hey, Joy.
Yeah, she's walking downstairs.
That's funny. That's awesome.
All right.
No, I like
Anybody
what's on
else?
screen here. I like this quote you have up here. Yeah, this is great. And we should all remember this, right? We're all there throwing away disposable income, ostensibly. The doers are there work for minimum wage. And so, like Ed says, I think it's really important to remember that the doers need the money. And like, if y'all ain't tipping the dealers, then that's on you. Like they work for nothing. Like you know me, I want to be a dealer, and my local casino will train you, but they pay $9 an hour plus tips. And I know what I'm seeing players tip at my local casinos, and I'm like, I can't work for $9 an hour and then $11 in tips for a night. And I know that these folks are trying to live on that. So you got to remember that. Like, they're not making anything. So tip where you
Can I
can.
ask a
I know that a
follow-up?
lot of you don't like that,
Anybody-
but tip where you can.
Yep, go ahead,
Anybody
Craig.
who's received a tip from another player, have you ever then taken that and given it to the dealers?
Yeah.
That's what Ed just said. Yeah, Ed said
Okay.
that he did that. Yeah. No, I didn't. I
And
got tipped.
I'm usually one of the biggest tippers there as well. I'll put them on the line with me and continue to press it, put them on the hard ways as well. And if I'm on a big roll, they're going to be winning big. Typically, on some of my big rolls, they're winning over $100 just from the collection and leaving probably 40 or 50 on the table.
That's great, Alfredo. Thanks.
Yeah.
I had
Ed,
a
did-
dealer one time take money out of the stack that was already their tip money. He looked at his pit boss and he said, or looked at the stick, said, "I'm taking this and I'm putting it on the 9." What bigger compliment can you get when a dealer takes his tip money and takes it and stacks it up on a number?
That's pretty awesome.
Yep. Well, I do know that when I play locally,
love to gamble too.
I'm sorry,
They
who was
do.
that?
They do. But
I'm sorry.
Oh, just the dealers. They like to gamble along with you, and if they see you're hot on a number, they're gonna parlay some of their winnings on that number.
they will.
Well, one of the
But remember,
one of the
they
things that I
can't.
do
They
on
can't
a-
drop. They can't drop a loss though, right? So when I'm the guy who, if I bet for and I do, I'll bet the dealers across. I do that all the time. And if I 7 out before they've collected anything, I'll tell them, take one, press one, and try and build them up. But if they get nothing out of that, I'll always drop the $6 back out there and say drop it. Because I feel terrible. I know they want to gamble and have some fun and make some money, but if I blow it on my throw and they get nothing out of that, but yay, thanks for the bet, but fuck you, I got nothing out of it, I drop the $6 back out there at the very least and give them that. So I don't know. Maybe it's dumb, but I feel terrible if I waste their tip money.
So I play at the Orleans, and so I always put them on the replay. So I'll do a 5-1, and I've hit the replay several times for them. And so when it's hit as a 4 hit, they're getting into the thousands. If it's the outside numbers, they're getting 500 if it's a 5 or 9. So they're happy to be on it.
That's cool.
Absolutely.
All right.
What's a replay?
Diamond, did you
Al?
want to say
I
something?
don't know what a replay is.
Oh, that's one of the hardest bets to hit. It's 3 hits at the same point or more. And then the fourth piece, the mega, really 5,000 to 1 if you're, or 1,000 to 1 if you're on the 4 and 10, 500 to 1 on the 5 and 9, and then the 6 and 8 only pay 250 to 1. So
Wow.
That's the repeated
Nice.
bet, correct?
that's a replay
No.
bet, but you have to hit it the same, and they're only going to pay you on whatever one is the highest. So if you end up hitting a 10 4 times, that's what you're going to be paid out on, even if you hit the 5 4 times.
It's only the point. Only the point. So you got to hit that number 8 times for it to pay off. Wow.
Yeah, not an easy feat.
Okay.
All right,
No.
let me go to El Toro and ask
Wow.
him about tipping. You played a number of years, El Toro. Do you tip during or at the end?
I tip all the way through,
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say
beginning,
that.
middle, and the end.
That's how I.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
yeah, just kind of listen to everybody. It's kind of funny. Ed must play in larger denominations too. What I found is when you're at the table and you're playing, let's say you're buying in with 5,000, and then the guy next to you is buying in with $100. You could have a massive roll, and the guys aren't going to tip you because they're looking at your bankroll up there, up in your rack. I've had many just giant rolls. I've made people a lot of money, including myself, and I don't expect the tip. And like Ed, when you get the tip, you just give it to the dealer, because usually the tips they're minuscule in what you just made.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this: lately, I've seen a lot of people that you hit a good roll and you hit all these box numbers, and everybody just kind of packs up and goes. They just want to take their money and run.
Yeah, it's true.
No,
We felt it. We felt it at Hard Rock about a month ago, and
it's almost like you cleared the table, right? You can have a big giant roll, and you clear the table just as fast as you would when someone 0.7's out now.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
The dice came to. It was funny. We felt at the table. The dice came to me, and I looked around. I went and I looked at my watch, and I went, "Color coming in." That's exactly what I said. It was time to go. It was midnight.
So is that
the big thing?
Is that like a COVID thing, everybody leaving? Or is that because our message is starting to get out to hit your profit goal and leave? I don't know. That's a question.
I don't know. Nobody. I mean, we had a table that was full of shooters and players, and we had myself and we had another guy who posted earlier on the table, and he threw for an hour and 20 minutes, and when the die and everybody had passed, I had shot for about 30, 40 minutes. I was in my second stick, and then the next guy shot, and the guy next to him said, "We're going to pass the dice all the way around to stick right." The guy was left-handed, and then you. And by the time the dice came to me, I mean, he'd rolled for an hour and 40 minutes now, which is a long roll, but guys, the bets were so big, it was taking a while, and we had 14 suits in the pit. Literally, we had a lot of suits in the pit. They never said a word. They never said anything to us. But when the dice came over to me and I went color coming in, the dealer went F and A. So we took almost 40 grand off that table.
Yeah, and
but you'll also find out when you do that, there's like kind of where that started was people just aren't really tipping, right?
No, we weren't tipping, but we had the dealers.
No, they're not tipping you. Whoever the shooter is, you're not getting tipped as a shooter.
No, we're not getting tipped. We were betting the dealers on that last roll. I mean, they had $200 fours and tens.
Yeah.
I mean, we were pressing them, and they were pushing up, and they were having fun. They were rocking and rolling with us. I mean, it was one of those moments you just live for on a craps table. You just live for it. I mean, you just can't believe how good it is. And the fun thing was teaching. I was teaching some new guys that weekend, and they had never been above $120 on anything. And so I said, well, you don't go above your comfort zone, but I'm going to town on this number because this number's rolling, and I'm sitting there with an $1,800 eight, and they've matched me up. They've played it with me, and I took 2 hits at 900 before I went to the 1,800 on the 6, I think it was. Yeah, it was a 6. So, teaching new guys how to take advantage of those hot rolls that only come along every so often. That's what we all enjoy. I mean, that's why we play.
Yeah, but I think Joe made the comment, when I was saying a good hot shooter, somehow kind of clears the table nowadays like it would with 0.7 out. I don't know that it might have to do with the message that, we're all sending short game, where you hit your profit goal or your win goal. That might be there. I don't know. But yeah, I think right now you have a lot of folks still, maybe trying to pick up a little bit extra money here and there. The younger guys that are doing this, they just want to get that money and run, quick. But they're missing it. To me, I'll just say they're missing a lot of opportunity on the table when they do that too.
Yep.
We had
time will roll you out, but
on that particular roll, we had almost every position on the table was taken with known guys. And I think there were 3 people who just happened to fall into the luck of the day. I mean, they just, they were just there, or they just happened to squeeze in.
Yeah.
We colored up. Every one of us colored up but those 3 guys. And when we came back from the cage, we came back by there. They didn't have anything. They didn't even know how to bet. They didn't even know how to bet the hands that they had just seen. And they saw several good hands. Unfortunately, they were still there and were just about out of chips when we went by there to go to the bar to celebrate.
Wow. Well, let's wrap up this tipping thing with one thing that I do, and I'm not a big time craps player. I don't play big. Like Ed was telling me his story a few weeks back, where they were on the 4 and the 10, and one of his friends, I don't know if it was you, Ed, or one of your friends, had the 4 maxed out at either 3,000 or 5,000. I forgot what it was you told me. But when I tip, I always put a single dollar bill next to my $10 or $15 line bet every single time religiously. My friend Clay, I play with all the time here. We do the same thing every time. If I get into the middle of a roll, I throw $6 out there, place them across the place box. If I'm picking up the hard ways, it's always 2 ways, and I just think it's the right thing to do because they are working hard. I've been married to somebody that was in a service person, a waitress, and she worked very hard for her money. So I'm gonna put this one up here. We're gonna end with this one. I know that some of you have already responded to it, but I like what Nuts and Bolts says here. He says, actually, if I'm tipping whether I'm winning or losing, and I am in that same boat. The rest of that line there, I guess I'm too nice unless the players or dealers are rude, and I would agree with you on that part. Sometimes we have a local here that they get too much chit chat going on during the time period, and I actually stop or don't tip as much. Like I might put $1 on the line, and then when I set the point at 6, instead of putting some odds behind it, I don't put the odds. And then when I say, can we get back to the game or something, I think the box usually picks up on that. But that final thing there, you say no soup for you. You must be a Seinfeld fan, Nuts and Bolts. And let's move on to the next question. So John asked somebody to put a cute question back in. I'm going to put it in here. It comes from Desperado. Let me send this one up here now. And the question is, I didn't read the whole thing. What are your thoughts with the big red on the average once every 6 rolls versus most YouTube videos not turning bets off before the 6th roll? And I'm going to have at this first. Desperado. It's not Desperado. I can't see what that says. Dad. Anyway, I'm just going to call you Dad. Desperado, thank you. I thought it said Desperado from my screen. It's a small 17-inch screen that I have that displayed on with a big 42-inch screen over here. I'm going to take the first thing is, if you're watching YouTube videos and they're not showing you a loss once in a while, they're not showing you the truth. On my channel, you'll see losses. If you watch Coffee and Craps enough with John in the morning, he's going to show you what happens. And what happens on his table happens on my table. It does. No, it happens on my table. And what I can't stand is somebody that's always showing a winning strategy every single time on their channel. It just does not happen. It can't happen. And lately here on my light-sided play, because I was a hybrid player. Greg's in the chat. I know him. I'm not a don't player, Greg. I'm a light-sided hedger. I got it. Okay. But I've done a lot of light-sided stuff here recently, and I'm usually down by 4 hits. And anything you see me do here lately, it's typically 4. And if it goes beyond that, then I'm doing the precedent and I'm coming back down. But let's go out here to let's go to Greg, since he's on the dark side with this 6 rolls. Greg, what do you think?
Listen, you got to get out of there quick. But I really, before I answer this question, I wanted to chime in on the tipping thing, because I've never been tipped more than once per, one at a time. But I have actually been tipped to leave the table. once even collectively that the guys took up a little collection.
Get out of here,
I'm
you
not
suck.
actually kidding you. I know that sounds funny, but I bet the rest of you guys have never been tipped to leave.
Oh my!
And
No, that is
I have a
fantastic.
great story. I have a story, and I'm going to save it for my good buddy Chris from Dice Degen. I want to go on. He's doing this awesome thing called Story Time, and I want to go on. That's one of the stories I want to tell over there. Guys, if I can just take a second, Dice Degen and I have become friends, kind of like me and John from Pro Craps. I have not been this excited about a channel, except for John, as I am for Dice Degen. He is an awesome guy, smart as a whip. As a matter of fact, he's got this awesome strategy coming out, and I don't want to spoil it, but I loved it. I loved it so much. Guys, if you are not subscribed there, you got to go subscribe to this guy's channel. You will not be disappointed. And I'll tell you something else. I've agreed, him and I, since we've become such good friends, I'm willing to take a regular slot on his channel if you guys are willing to support him with the subs and the likes and do the work. This guy is top notch. He's like my good buddy John. So I want to congratulate him. Congrats on 500 subs. And just so you know, Chris, I do plan to tell that story of how I was actually collectively tipped to leave the table. So that'll be something we do on your channel the next time I make an appearance.
Sounds good. I have a couple stories lined up from you, I guess, because that singing one's never going away. That one's never in my head.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, Jeff was just talking about Desperado, and I almost broke out into song right there. So, you know.
Hey, but I had a marriage proposal once at the table, but I told the guy that I was already married.
All right. Okay, can we get back to the question, Greg? Do you have any comments on the 6 rolls?
Oh, sure.
Listen, I'm all about the short roll.
Okay.
I mean, it's why I play the don't. You don't often see somebody go beyond it. So, yeah, guys, if you're playing light side, especially for more than 2-3 rolls, I don't advise it. I really don't. It does come. And for me, it comes a lot more than that. I'd say it comes probably 1 in 4 for me. So, I turn them off, pull down, do a regression, whatever you got to do. Guys, the light side is actually designed to kill you. This is why the casino loves when you play light side. Guys, you got to get in and get out quick. I don't care if you do it with the skill 66. I don't care if you do it with a 1 hit and down. But take the 7 seriously. Do yourself a favor. It does come out at that ratio, if not worse, for most people.
All right, let's go over to a younger YouTube channel and ask Craig, what do you think about the 7 every 6 times?
I totally believe in it, and I wanted to start my channel for the beginner player. Every once in a while, yes, I'm going to have an aggressive strategy video, but I keep my videos raw. I have only 18 videos out, minus the shorts, and of those, I think I only have 3 winning videos. The rest either take some loss, some take heavy loss. But I want to show, if you try to do this at the casino, this could happen. You could very well lose your bankroll if you don't have a stop loss, if you don't have a win goal. You could very well play just like this, and this is what's going to happen. I think somebody said it earlier tonight. Sometimes you're going to hit that table that's just hot. And when it does, make sure you have something going. Make sure you have a strategy before you even walk through those doors. And make sure you have a stop goal and a win goal, because the 7's coming. You can't avoid it. So.
All right. Anybody else like to take a stab at this question before we move on?
Yeah, I'll take a stab at it. I think
sure.
It goes back to bankroll management, right? And I think if you're going to be in on random players, whether it's playing the don't or playing some sort of light strategy with like a 6 and 8 in a filled bet and hopping a 5 or something like that, you're probably going to have to come off after 4 rolls, not even 6. You're just not going to see most rollers do that. If you want to be in the game, put a don't for $25 and just be in the game. Don't put any odds. Wait until the next shooter. If they hit the point, then you lose $25. If they don't, you don't lose 110 because you're not playing across. That's my philosophy about it. And then you can work it right back up. So you can go on a regression strategy, start again. But yeah, if it's a random player, someone that is just tossing it, you're going to get a 7. You might get a long roll, but you're going to lose over the long run.
All right, thank you. While you have the floor there, I'm going to put this question up here from Dice Dr. Dan. It was directed to you a little while ago. He wants to know, what time of the day do you play at the Orleans?
Usually all day. So, it's crazy. So
right.
I've marathons actually. This year I've been there every single month, and I'll be back there August. I have plans to be there in September, and obviously in October I already have plans. And then I'm planning in January to meet up with some Crap Nation folks as well. So I'm there a lot, and what I found is the mornings are killing us right now. So they have 2 different dice. So they have the smaller dice in the morning. I would recommend playing either the don't or playing a couple of hits and down, because you see very few people hit points in the morning. As soon as the later afternoon comes in the new shift and they switch the dice to the bigger dice that people are used to, you tend to see a lot better rolls. So, and the smaller dice seem to jump off the table a little bit, but that's when I'll be there. I'll be there August, I believe 16th. No, I'm sorry, August 17th through the 21st.
All right. Well, thank you for that. El Toro, I know you muted yourself there, so I'll come back to you after you unmute that. Ed, what do you think about that question regarding the average on the 7?
Would you put it back up, Jeff, by the way, so we can see it?
Pardon?
It depends on who's shooting.
Put that
the
back on
dice
screen so we can all see it.
How I play, but
yeah, hold on.
Sorry, buddy, I don't remember the question.
Yeah, hold on.
Go ahead, El Toro.
He didn't remember the question. I got to find it.
It's basically, what do you think about the average 7s? I mean, we all 0.7 out. If you've got a 6 or better SRR, then you're going to have short rolls. You're going to have long rolls. You just know that's going to happen. Now you're talking about don't play. I don't play light side on random shooters or people I don't know. I never play light side on people I don't know. I'll start out with either a don't pass with a 6 and 8, or I'll just go completely dark, don't pass and DCs. I know that probably might surprise some of you guys, but I play don't side a lot when I don't have the dice.
All right. Did you see the question there, El Toro?
Yeah, I did. I was just listening to Ed. So for me, the average every 6 rolls, that's pretty common, but I see here why YouTubers don't turn them off. Don't know. I can't speak to all the other YouTubers. For me, I just kind of do my own thing, but if it's going to be a bad roll, it's going to be a bad roll. I for one, don't really focus on strategies. I know most everybody else is trying to get this holy grail of strategy that works with good rolls, bad rolls, and all rolls in between. There's no such animal, buddy. You got to be able to read the table. You got to read the table and know how you're going to bet. Have a lot of tools inside your toolkit.
To quote a friend of ours, quote a friend of ours, you can't shoot, you can't win, right?
You can't bet, you can't win either.
Can't shoot, you can't win. I had to say it. Somebody had to say it. You're all thinking it.
Oh my God. Wow.
No. Yeah, I know. I went there. I've had like 5 whiskeys.
No, but it's
now here's the deal. It's the truth. It's the truth, right? If you can't shoot, if you can't get past, you got to get past 1 or 2 rolls to make any money. I'll tell you what.
That's why I guess that's why I focus on shooting, and I don't worry about strategies, because if you can shoot,
I hear you.
If you can shoot, you can win on any damn strategy, except for a don't strategy.
Exactly.
If you can shoot, you should be able to do that too.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah.
can't.
Well, that's the
You
thing.
could.
You could, but you don't want to give the damn dice up.
Exactly.
Right. Right.
You know, can
All
I
right,
say something?
Well, when I throw every night, go, Greg.
Five, I'm sorry you don't have your channel anymore. You gave me all kinds of inspiration. You always pissed me off and made me want to go out and make a new video.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I was actually going to say something about you, Ed. You know, I know there's a lot of dice influencers out there who are a little bit on the questionable side, but you, Ed, I find you to be a breath of fresh air, because I know that you're a straight shooter, and I really do appreciate that. In a world where there's a lot of people who are just not on the level, I got to say, Ed, I think you are on the level. I think highly of you, and I think highly of El Toro. Now, we may disagree on substance, and that's just fine, but I do actually respect you, and I think you guys bring a lot to the table, so I just wanted to tip my hat to you guys. And if I pissed you off and you want to do a strategy, I will watch it, and I will appreciate it. So thanks for what you guys do, even though it's not my thing.
No worries. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, and you play to your strengths. That's what I do.
Yeah, El Toro is spot on. You play to your strengths.
Yep. All right. Dylan, I was waiting for you to finish your. I looked like some type of ice cream or something there before
DQ. It's a DQ buster.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Right there.
What's your thoughts on the 7?
Blizzard.
And then we'll let
DQ
John.
Blizzard.
We'll end with John on the question, and then we'll move on.
Well, yeah, my wife brought that to me, so I had to do something with it besides let it melt. But anyway,
We're not.
But anyway, the thing is that you know, all the different content, all the different players have said are good and spot on. With the 6, with 6 ways of rolling a 7 and whatnot, I always want to cut that in half and be conservative. I want to be on the conservative side. So if I've got a strategy in my head that I'm gonna press a maximum of 3 hits, and then I'm definitely going to regress. That's just the way it is. If that makes me a conservative player, then so be it, or what have you. But I'd rather protect my bankroll and do that, and then come back after the regression, and if the table's on fire, so be it. I can still press again. There's nothing wrong with locking up your, after the 3rd hit, lock up your profit, and then come back down and then take it off again. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's playing smart as far as I'm concerned. And that's what I want to do, and I want to keep under that. If the 7 is rolling every 6 times allegedly, which we know it doesn't, but it'll average out. And if I've got that mentality of 3 hits, and then cut it back down, then I'm staying 50% under, at 50% or under, either taking 1 hit or 2 hit or 3 hits max, and then regress. Then I feel that I'm have better peace of mind with a little bit of caution and safety, and like I said, on the conservative side. And so I think I hope that makes sense.
All right, it does to me. John, did you want to wrap this question up before we move on, because we just pushed over the 2-hour limit?
Sure.
Time limit, not time limit.
The only thing I got to say about all I got to say about this is this: if the 7 came every 6 times, I'd be a millionaire.
Exactly.
Right. That's not what happens. Right. It comes on the 2nd roll, and then it comes on the 20th roll, and it averages to 7 or 8, whatever it is. It's an average. So you cannot make your betting decisions based on averages. You got to look at what's happening. And that's why we preach all the time. And everybody does the same thing. We're talking about regression. We're talking about getting out of it in 1 or 2 or 3 rolls. My goal, what do I say on my show, right? Get 1 first. Let me make my YOLO attempt first, right? If you're a shooter, or if it's me. Then give me my 2nd and 3rd rolls. In 3 rolls, I'm at profit, no matter who I'm playing against. In 3 rolls, I'm in profit, no matter what strategy I've got. And that's all I care about. If I can pull and guarantee profit in 3 rolls, I don't give a shit what happens after that, right? If the 7 comes on roll 4, 5, 6, or 40, I'm cool, right? I'll make money on the big roll, but I'm not. I don't know, man. It's coming soon, and that's where the Horseman came from. The Horseman lets me live on the 1, 2, and 3 on everybody not named John, and I can survive. I'll catch a good one, and I'll survive until it's me, and I know I can get 3. I work my ass off to get 3 so I can be in profit and then ride myself into the sunset. That's it. I wish it was 6. I wish I played the long game long enough to get every 6 rolls, because shit, I'd make a fortune, but you can't do that. Right. And especially on a quote unquote random thrower, they're as likely to throw 50 as they are to throw 2. And it's hard to put your money at risk out there other than the don't. And that's why the don't pass is such an important part of the game. And while I'm on topic, stay off the fucking crapless tables. There's no don't pass. You got nowhere to run.
Never. Always play the crap.
Do not patronize those tables. They're sucking the life out of this damn game, and I'm dying on that cross. I'm going to die on that.
John, hold it, guys. Go ahead, Dylan.
John, I have to be the devil's advocate, because you can lay the 12. You can lay the 2 and 12 at the same time on the crapless table. You can't do that. The only thing you can do is the 4 and 10. You can't do the 3 and 11. You can't do the 2 and 12. So
not in every table.
Smart.
Yeah.
If you play smart,
John,
you can lay that
at a
12.
table that allows you to lay it. Yeah. You got to lay
John,
the 12 for like
want to say
$80 to win 6. I'm not doing that.
John, I'm with
But
you
not everybody
completely.
lets you do it. Only the strat lets you lay the 12. I think not every casino that has crapless lets you lay. Paris does not let you lay bet at all. I watched them put the table in when I was there. No lay bets allowed, which is I would never put $1 on a table that takes away half the game. They're destroying this game.
I think the crapless might be.
I know you can make money. I know Ed can make money on it, but to me, it's taking away the essence of the game, and that's wrong. And I'm not going to support wrongness. I'm just not going to do it. And I realize I know that a good shooter is going to make money there. I know why Ed loves it, but for me, I wouldn't play 000 roulette. I wouldn't play 6 to 5 blackjack, and I will not play crapless. I just won't do it because I think it's a screw job. They wouldn't do it if it wasn't good for them. Let's just put it that way. So
it's definitely good for them. There's no doubt about it. It does take away the dark side of the game. Absolutely, positively. Yeah. Where I go is in Mississippi primarily. Probably 50% of the tables are crapless. Especially if you go to Tunica, it's at least 50% of the table.
Wow.
Now, so you have to decide, am I going to learn to play that game, or am I going to just go sit on a table with a bunch of randoms at a regular table? So if you go to a crapless table in Mississippi, you've got guys who practiced for years throwing 12s because they liked that triple 12. I can sit there and wait on the dice with a $35 12 and $1 vig on every shooter. And by the time the dice get back to me, I'm going to be ahead as the table comes around, as the dice come around, almost every time. When I play, you've got to be really careful when you're playing crapless, because you can get a lot of money out there and nothing flat. I mean, you can get it out there quick, and by the time you've got money out there, all of a sudden Big Red shows. So you've got to be careful. There's no doubt about it. And you've got to have a strategy, but most important, you got to be ready to walk. You got to know when to walk away from it. And that's the same with any table. You got to know when to walk away. Now, I don't rely on the dark side on those. I don't rely on the dark side on those because there's no dark side, right? But I can bet a 6-8. I can bet a field and let the field populate the 3 and 11 and the 2 and the 12. And when they hit, my record personally is 5 12s in one hand. 5 12s, 6 to 1 every time.
Let me ask you this:
press those, you got to press them up.
Do they have any tables down there where they've got the repeater bet?
Never seen a repeater bet. in a long time.
Okay, so I think
there
in,
may
in
be
Reno,
some in
they're everywhere.
Vicksburg, but I don't know.
Yeah. They're
There's
everywhere
no
in Reno. And
repeaters.
I think the repeater, the repeater 12, I think pays 60 to 1, and it's 3. I think a guy like you that can throw a 12, that's your better bet. That's worth the $5 bill every time you got the dice, because I think that's your better payout if you can shoot it.
Well,
versus
I
the 6
think
to 1 on the crapless table. Yeah.
Well, I agree. I agree that that's the better bet, but it's not available. It might be available.
I haven't seen him down south. Repeater bets.
I saw a repeater bet at Fitzgerald pre-COVID, and it went away. I do not know about Vicksburg. I hadn't been there in 120 years. But in Tunica, which is semi-dying, and then in Biloxi, there's no repeater bets. No fire bets.
Yeah, they have 2 tables at the Orleans that do the repeater. They're only open in the afternoons through the evenings.
And you can go to the Gold Coast and play with all them beginner guys and play the repeater bet. I can't stand that play. I mean, I go there, but it drives me nuts to play with those beginner dealers every time.
Well, it sounds like to me like we should do a segment on crapless at some point, because John, I think you opened up the door on some discussion here, but we do have a couple more questions and we need to get to. What I was going to do real quick is we were going to do like Big Brother does, and we're going to go over and eavesdrop on Big AZ just for 1 minute. Let's see what's going on over at his channel. Everybody's audio should still be live. He just went down to 4 people. All right. Just going to leave here about another 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds.
I think the job Big AZ does dealing to 4 or 5 people is impressive, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
9 nights in a row he's been live.
That's crazy, yeah.
It's
awesome.
insane trying to deal to more than 3 people. 3 people or
It's
more.
one of the smoothest
it is. It's really
delivery
hard.
of breakdown chips. So if you throw down 100 and he gives you 425 greens, he does it so smoothly, and I find it really amazing.
Yeah. Anyway,
he's had practice. He's had a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
You
like
really
Big Brother, we
appreciate
just
why
use
they have a
job.
stick person that controls the actual prop bets. There's a whole reason behind it. Yeah.
Yep. No, you're right. It is. Okay, let me get my screen back up here if my computer's going to cooperate with me, and we're going to move on to another question. I had a couple comments in there that I was going to make from someone else. We'll put this one up here. I don't think she's still here, but maybe Justice Jen is still here. She's a new subscriber to most of our channels, and she says, just wanted to say hi. She stopped by about 35 minutes ago and said, your time as genuine input has been so helpful. Question, do most of you skip the pass line or the don't pass line unless you are the shooter? So anybody can take a crack at that. Let's go. Let's start here. Alfredo, you got your thumbs up. Unmute your thing, and you take this one.
Oh yeah, I don't play it unless it's on someone that I know throws a lot of 7s on a come out roll and still actually can hit a roll. I'll play a pass line. Other than that, I'm not on the pass line. I'm waiting until after, unless I'm playing dark.
Yeah, I very seldom play the pass line unless I'm playing dark as well. Let's go over to Joe. What about you, Joe?
I used to play the pass line quite a bit, but as of the last few months, I stopped playing it unless I'm required to. For that reason, I mean, a lot of times what I was doing is I was playing the pass line, plus I was placing the point number, which is a way for me to get different amounts of money out there and that. But I stopped doing that a few months back. It's just not worth it. I would rather just play my strategy and play the numbers that I choose, basically. So,
all right, Churro, how about you?
Well, when I first started, I would play the pass line a lot. I noticed that in my normal casino, I have like all the other people will play the pass line. I myself, and I probably attribute this to all the amazing, great content providers that I've been watching. I don't play the pass line. Unless I'm obviously playing myself, I will pick different numbers and play a certain strategy, but I seem to get hit harder whenever I play a pass line with odds, I almost always get tagged, and so I stopped doing it.
All right. Hey, Chris, how about you?
I usually am not on the line unless I'm playing dark side. Even if I know people who are shooting, I usually just place the point and stick to whatever strategy I'm playing. I'm usually off the pass line unless I'm shooting. I have played the pass line like when I was with Clay and Ted the other weekend, and I was playing the pass line on them. But for the most part, I just place the point. I'm usually off the pass line.
Yeah, looks like Dan DVD asked, also asked that basically that same question, so I'm gonna put that up there too. Craig, what about you? Being new to craps, how do you approach that?
My local casino only requires you play it on the shooter before the dice come to you. So when that happens, I'll actually play the pass line and I'll play the field on the come out. Because if it gets sniped with the 2-3, I'll get double on the 2 and the 3 will hit, and it's fine. If an 11 hits, I get paid on both. If a 7 hits, it's a push. So
I got to be clear on that, Craig. What your casino makes you play the pass line?
If you want to shoot the dice, you have to play the pass line on the shooter before you.
I have
Same
never
here.
heard of that before.
Yeah, they don't count the
here.
action, other action you have.
No, they.
We're about to go full table. The one casino here is going to go full table. You got to bet the pass line or some line bet on everybody, or else you're by default can't shoot. Isn't that awful?
Oh, that's retarded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's harsh.
Does the don't pass
Yeah, any line you have to have line action. They want line action. Yeah.
So the don't
Greg,
pass
are you
don't
asking
count.
a question?
Hmm?
I thought Greg asked a question. Somebody asked about does that count the
No,
don't? I didn't hear who.
I didn't ask a question, but if you want to know, I'm on the don't on everybody. So that's my answer.
I think we had money on that one.
I think it does count.
Yeah, we had money that you were on the don't on everybody. El Toro, do you play pass line on others or just when you shoot?
Only when I shoot or if I'm there with Big Money Mike. I don't play contract bets at all. I don't.
Right.
I want to be able to turn my money out, pick them up, go. I don't like losing money like that.
All right.
And I saw one of those comments that's popped up. It was like 10x odds. I have yet to see somebody put a quarter down with 10 times odds behind it.
It's the only time that the pass line with odds makes any sense at all is if you've got 10x odds. At a 3-4-5 table, a pass line with max odds is worse than the place bet at the same amount. And that's just math.
It makes
Right?
sense, but do you have the?
I disagree. When I play light side, I want it.
Do you have the cojones to do it?
I want to play a pass line when I'm on doing light side. First of all, you improve the payouts in the 4 and 10 so much. I just don't play pass line a lot because I'm always on the don't. But I think it's one of the best bets on the table. Why not? Especially when you look at it averaging out. When you take
Greg, do the
odds
math.
on your 4. I'm sorry?
Greg, do the math, right? A $5 pass line bet with $15 odds pays you $35. That same $20 as a buy bet on the 4 or 10 pays $38. $39, right? It's mathematically a poor bet unless you're at a 10x table. So
you're
pass
not
line with
taking
max
into
odds
You're not taking into consideration that you are expected winning on the 7-Eleven out there because it averages itself out. It's the best paying bet on the light side. But
it's a one roll bet. It's a one roll bet. I would hop the 7. Frankly, to me, hop the 7s for $1 each on the come out, and then buy the 4 and 10. You're in better shape than doing getting a 4 and 10 and maxing odds out. Either way, I wouldn't do it unless it's me and I have to do it.
Okay.
I've done too many trials on it, and I don't see the benefit of it. And like Toro says, I want my money back. I want to be able to choose it most of the time. I do like. What's funny though is I'll say that, and then in the same breath I'll say I love a come bet. I like a come bet during the roll. I hate the come out, but I hate the come out. I hate the pass line. For whatever reason, it skeeves me out. So I know it makes no sense, but that's just 30 years of playing. That's just how I roll.
I don't love light side, but when I'm playing it, I'll jump on with at least a $5 bet with if they'll give me 5x odds, I'll take it because you will make
Look, if your intention is to pick a specific number, it's not smart, but it brings the house edge down. I'm all for it, unless you're going to go hog wild on it. I don't see the harm in it. I only see the benefit over time.
Yeah.
I prefer if you're in stick right
yeah,
hook, just don't bet the pass line. Keep my landing zone clear, please.
Yeah, landing zone's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother.
Wow.
That's a whole nother
Are you
topic.
going to open that can of worms?
Etiquette.
Landing zones, really?
Yeah.
All right, so there's two topics for a future. The people that are at the opposite end of the table putting the chips in your landing zone. El Toro, I think, made a comment about the landing zone too, but I didn't hear him. Your audio is a little lower than everybody else. Did you have something to say?
Yeah, so that's a whole different topic.
Yeah, it is.
But it's an important one though.
It's a
very
juicy one
important.
for sure.
People who are not shooting should not bet the pass line unless they're required to, and that's just for an ATS purpose. And then they should move their chips out of our way.
Absolutely.
Do you guys ever ask anybody to move their chips? Because I do, and I've gotten mixed reactions.
All the time. But I prefer having a good blocker down there in the corner.
Yeah.
Good
Same
blocker.
thing. If I'm going with someone, I'll have someone over there already and making sure if anyone comes in. Yeah.
I played for 5 days with a blocker for me in Vegas last November, and I never hit a chip for 5 days. I never hit a chip. He's the best blocker in the world.
Yeah, that's typically why Clay and I sit on the opposite ends of the table, because I know when he looks at me and I look at him, and whether he's going to throw it in the rear hook with the all seven or he's going to do some other set, I'll tell somebody to move their chips out of the way. But what gets me is the reaction you get sometimes. Sometimes they agree with you, and sometimes they get nasty with you. But I'm a polite, for the most part, type of guy at the table, and I just say whatever, and just let's get on with the game. Joe, you got something?
Not me. No, when I got somebody who doesn't
no need to be polite.
Just flex your muscles. They'll move them for you.
No, when I'm shooting, I've got somebody that just wants to be real, knucklehead, and they don't want to move their money. I'll turn my numbers. I'll turn all my money off, or I'll pick it up, and I'll intentionally shoot for the 7.
Yep, exactly.
That'll knock his ass off the table completely.
The easiest way to clear a table is for a group of guys to come in there and play the don'ts and shoot for the 7 after they've established a point. I mean, we can clear a table out in a hurry.
All day.
I had once where I did 3 7s and they kept going, and then one person still stood, and then I hit a bunch of his DCs, and literally all the other people that were chanting 7, and the box person was allowing this to happen. He finally came over and said, "I'm done," after he hit the 4th point, and it was pretty funny. But I got so mad because they were literally chanting 7 as I'm getting ready to throw it, and they were allowing it.
Well, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me, at least. I mean, at all.
No, it's just a challenge. It just makes you focus.
You just got to know all they're doing is getting in your head, right? They're trying to help you manifest a 7, but I don't worry about that. My thing is just those players, the belligerent players, that they know that you got a landing zone. They've seen you shoot for the last 30 minutes, and they decide they're going to put their goddamn money right there in front of you. And you look at them and go, "Are you serious?" Right now.
I agree, El Toro, 120%.
Wait, they're there to have fun, right? I look at it differently because this is my business. El Toro Investments is my company, and that's what I do for a freaking living. So, if you're going to be on the table with me, at least pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. You know what I mean? If I'm asking you to move the money over, it's because I want you to win as well. If you want to look at me like I'm a freaking idiot, then sure, okay, fine. I'll knock you out, and I'll get rid of whatever money you got on the table intentionally.
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like another.
I get really passionate about that one.
Get them out of the way.
Sounds like
Get them out of the way.
Sounds like another topic.
We got all kind of topics, don't we? Don't we, Jeff? We got all kind of future topics.
Hey,
we only
we had people who gave a shit enough to watch the show every couple of weeks, right, Jeff? There's plenty of. I told you.
Hey, I
13
just looked.
episodes ago. This is going to take off, right?
We
This is
were
gonna be
at
okay.
50. We were at 50 people still watching.
Yeah.
I looked at the time, John, and we're pushing past
Yeah.
2.5 hours. Actually, it's almost 3 hours for me.
I mean, I'm telling
and
you.
I
Love
hate
it.
to cut the show off, but we're not going to do it just yet because we still got a couple more questions to go. But the crapless questions, somebody's got to remind me of these because I'm old and I can't remember too much. The crapless questions, the moving. Asking people to move the dice and the reaction you get, and the tipping, I think, is we've talked about them, off and on throughout the 13 episodes, but I really think that we need to, maybe spend a little bit more time with such great guests as we have tonight, because we've got some really good chats. It looked like everybody in the chat's doing it, and I'm trying to keep up with the chats. So let's move on to the next question. This may be the final question with a couple of comments that I'm going to put up there. So I'm going to put this one up. This one has something to do with whether or not does anybody use a pen and a pad to track all their shooters while at the table. I personally don't, but I have seen it done. Anybody else?
Same.
I see. I hear somebody laughing.
No.
Is that Ed?
That's me. No, absolutely. I laugh at them. I think that's hilarious.
I don't do it. I know guys that do it, and I've been on tables with people who've done it, and I appreciate them letting me take pictures of my rolls after they've done it. But other than that, I don't have it.
I do it if I'm just tracking for friends, and I'll go to the pie gal table and get the thing and get the pen for free.
Wow, never thought about that. Yeah.
I've thought about doing it just to get live table rolls to stick in win craps to run strategies against. Because win craps, I think the RNG is not very good. So I've considered just logging 1,000 or so rolls off a table and just hand entering them in as a live test of strategy. That would be a good use for it, but
Wow. All right. Well, anybody else want to take
I'm a nerd,
stab at
so
that question?
there you go.
All right. Anybody else has any last questions you want to ask? Because we're going to get ready to wrap it up in the next 10 or 15 minutes. Put a cue around it. I've called a couple here. I do want to go back and I want to put this one up here. It's from our good friend JR, John, and we were talking a while back. So this was 30 minutes ago. He put this up, and I couldn't display it because I was going to save it. So I'm going to put this one up here. I don't know if it's going to turn into a question or not, but loss limits are not stop loss. So stop loss is a 6-8 come out trigger or a crap roll, etc. An actual game tactic, not a fixed dollar amount. Now, he said that about 30 minutes ago when we were talking about a couple different topics. And, JR has a tendency to, to be pretty, I don't want to say disagreeable. It's not the right word, but he's the pessimist in the optimist crowd and vice versa. And does anybody see any value in what he says there? I mean, I do, but I don't want to take it the wrong way. I'm going to take it. Nobody does. So I saved that comment for nothing. Yeah. Sorry, JR. I tried.
Is he getting into just triggering when you're going to stop playing based on something he's seeing at the table? Like,
it was said about 30 minutes ago. Yeah, he was about 30 minutes ago. We were talking about something.
If he's talking about, I mean, I'm reading it right now, but if he's talking about loss limits per shooter or loss limits for the table versus a stop loss, I mean, those two things are very different. If that's what he's asking. I don't understand the 6-8 come out trigger. I don't understand that.
He's still here because he just posted 3 minutes ago. Jay, can you clarify that while we're sitting here trying to figure it out? What you meant by that comment? I'm going to leave it up there on the screen so you can remember that. If you put a chat back in there, or better yet, you can join us in the Zoom. Just go to the description below and pop in here. I'm not sure what that means.
I think while you're walking through that, I mean, you guys were talking about bankroll control, and one of the things that I do to try to control my bankroll is I have a limit per session that I'm going to go in with. So if I'm going to buy in for 500 and I have 2 bullets, it's 1,000, and it only hits 1,000. And once you hit that big roll, like Ed said, you have to be willing to walk. If things have been bad throughout, and you just made all your money back, and now you're up $800, you're up $1,500, you're not going to see a unicorn again, right? Go hit the cage, or maybe you bet 66 inside or something to see, and as soon as you see something bad, go hit the cage, because you're never going to be up if you never hit the cage.
All right. Well, it looks like Jay may have said that sarcastically because he came back on there and said seriously. So we're gonna move on. I'm going to put a comment up here that came almost an hour ago from Dan DVD. He may still be here. This is going to move into the DI section. So one of us in the audience here on the panel, just indulge us just a little bit here. So let me put this one up here. I'm just kidding, Greg. I'm just kidding. Which is the most forgiving? No, I want. You got to stay because there's a comment that's going to reference you here in a minute. So, Greg, you got to stay. Promise me, stay. Hang on there.
All right.
Which is the most forgiving dice set to avoid the 0.7 out? Is there such a thing? Comes from Dan DVD. So I'm not very good at that. So somebody that always sets their dice and do you have a set that's either favorable or unfavorable?
There's one that favors the craps, so you can avoid a 0.7, but it's still going to be a 0.7 once you establish potentially if it comes, right?
Okay.
Even if you can get a bunch of crap numbers before.
All right.
Yeah, there are dice sets, but a lot of it has to do with your throwing style. So if you're going to be using the chopper or the twister or whatever you want to call it, there's a different dice set that you're going to hit sevens with more frequently than others. If you're using the standard part toss over, the overhand grip, there's going to be a different dice set that will hit more sevens. If you shoot it the way I do it, two different ways, backhand it, from the left side, or the bowling style from the stick right area. Yeah, there are different dice sets for each one. So, I would say do your own due diligence and all your homework on what dice set's going to work best for you and your throwing style. But yes, there is such a thing in my opinion, because all my videos predominantly it's all about throwing dice, not so much the actual dice setting, because I've got a couple of videos on that. It really doesn't matter what the dang dice set is. You really want to make sure that your mechanics are spot on. That's the hardest thing of this whole,
All right, guys, you guys keep talking
not.
because I've had a microphone issue here. Keep talking, and I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear the echo.
So there's
Everybody went silent.
And we all went silent.
Yeah, we did. I'll say because I think the thing is this is you reference it perfectly, right? Everybody throws differently, and I'm working through the chopper toss, as you know. I got a couple other off-axis throws that I throw, and sure, I can find the pockets that I get into. But what I find honestly is that some days the set is a 7 set for me, and just whatever it is what it is, right? I don't know if there's any. You can't answer that question for anybody because everybody's so different. Just where you stand, standing an extra 4 inches away from the back wall changes your whole mechanic, and if you're I'm doing
your landing zone also has a lot to do with it too. So, for example, if you
100%.
For me, I like to have my dice breathe like a little bit of wine. You open it up and don't cork it. Boom! I want it to breathe a little bit sometimes and roll out. Others like to peg them or pin them. I like to pin them when I'm on a underhanded toss. Right up against it. It works better for me. But inline toss
is different.
That's right. Inline toss from my inline toss, I like it to breathe out. Hit it right between the 8-9 area, maybe 9-10 in the come, and then boom, let it roll to the back wall a little bit.
So your breathing toss, is that more of a Yuri toss?
A what?
A Yuri? Instead of
my
a part.
underhand?
No. You're the one that you're allowing to.
No, that's my inline backhanded toss.
Okay, I'll have to watch your video.
It's inline backhand toss from stick left.
That's your knuckleball?
All the way to
throw your. Is that your knuckleball? Your backhand knuckleball? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's mechanics are different.
100%.
Yeah.
So there's no specific toss that's going to fit just everybody.
Every dice set. That's right. You can got to have
it.
We have right here on our panel.
My set will not work with El Toro's set. His set will not work with mine.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have different mechanics.
10 of us here can throw the exact same dice set and get 100 different results every time.
Exactly.
Back to back.
Exactly.
I mean, I know in my own practice sessions, I do keep to a specific set, but if I change position, it changes my outcomes.
It sure does.
Just 2 feet
that's
forward.
Why I used to throw from every side of the table.
Yeah, I usually
You've
go
got to
from
learn. You've
on the
got to
hook side.
have different tosses, sometimes even different sets
That's
from
right.
different positions on the table. And you've got to practice those, or you're just a random
Yep.
guy at the table.
That's
Yeah.
right,
No,
because
I throw
you can't
1,000
just belly up,
at each
buddy. You
each
cannot
spot.
belly up to your favorite spot at the table anyway. I'll tell you that right now, because there's one guy on YouTube that says he won't throw unless he gets to his one spot. Well, buddy, everybody wants his one spot. Everybody wants that left one or two. Well, good luck in shooting, because now if you don't shoot, you won't ever play. Is what he should be saying.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right, El Toro. When I practice, sometimes I will go with different sets, and I will stand in 4 different positions, because I don't know what to expect when I walk through the door at the casino, at what position is going to be available. And I don't want to stand there and wait for that person to leave so I can have my spot. I want to say, okay, I got to throw from stick left 1 tonight. Okay, these are the 3 sets that work for me from this position.
Oh, so you're not like me and Ed, where you can phone it in and get calling your reservation for stick left 1 or 2, and they'll have you ready.
See, I'll wait.
I don't have
will
that
wait
kind
for
of pull. I got a buddy that's got that kind of pull.
I'll sit there for 2 hours wait for my spot. I'm not, and I've always kind of done that, but after talking to Michael Feldman, this is an interesting point that he made, which is if you're a 90% shot, like 90% confident with what you're doing from stick left 1, let's say, and you're 70% confident from the end, why the hell would you stay at the end? Why would you put yourself in a 20% disadvantage to what you think you can do? Wait for your spot. I'm not going to go to the hook and burn $600 trying to figure out what the hell my throw is tonight. I know what my throw is from next to the stick, man. I'll wait. I'll sit there and wait. Because what else I got to do?
So that will depend. Right. Yeah, that'll depend if you're there to actually. Well, here's what you got to ask yourself, right? What are you there for? Are you there to come in and make your 20% by just betting properly? Or are you there because you're only going to bet on yourself for shooting?
Right. You're 100% right. That's a great decision to make. And if it's 20% and the rest of the guys, I have made this mistake where I've made my 25% or 30% on the rest of the table, and it comes to me, and my first shot of the night is ass. And I've gone out there, overbet my skill, put 160 across, and burned my entire freaking profit. Wait on my own shot. I should have just left. I've done that more than once. You're right. If I'm looking to shoot, I'm waiting for my spot. If I'm looking to make money, I may just go out there and strategize my way around the table and get out of there early. That's totally cool.
You got two different kind of players. You got guys like you, John, who have a local casino. Then you have guys like me who've got to drive 5 hours to get to a casino.
Yeah.
All right. So when I get there, I'm there for the weekend, or I'm there for 2 or 3 days.
That's right.
And so we have different mindsets versus the guy who can go there on his way to work versus me sitting there. I've got to play for 3 days. I'm going to play for 3 days, or I'm going to play for 2 days.
So Ed, when you go to the casino, because when I was in Vegas, I did this, and maybe when you go to Mississippi, it's the same thing. I went out there with the same thought, like, okay, I've flown all this way. I'm here to play. I'm here to take money. But I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I went down to empty tables and got where I wanted to be at the casino I wanted, the table I wanted, the spot I wanted. I set my clock to do that instead of randomly going and getting whatever spot was open. Because I drove so long and I just had to play, I took the sacrifice of sleep to get where I wanted to be. Do you do the same thing, or do you just kind of go and are you good with wherever you end up on the table?
Well, it's kind of weird. I mean, in Biloxi, you never really know, but I've had good luck getting my favorite position here lately, even when it was crowded. I don't know why. I prefer my coffee morning, my morning coffee runs. I've always called them that because there's nobody hardly on the table. I love an empty table. Give me an empty table any day. I can goof around for about 3 or 4 tosses and figure out what my toss is doing that morning. Then I can go to work. I can sit at the Hard Rock on Saturday night when all the drunks are tossing, and I can play the dark side and wait on the dice. I can go to Tunica. I can play a $35 12 and wait on the dice. It doesn't matter to me. I've got a different plan versus where I'm at. But if I have to throw from the end, I've got tosses. If I got to throw from the right hook, I've got tosses.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
That's right.
We're
going there with different intentions than most, though. You got to keep that in mind, Ed. We're not going there just to go kind of make a quick little fun weekend out of it.
No, that's right.
Our objective and our goal is make what we need to make to cover our nut every month, and then everything after that goes to build your bankroll, so you can bet higher limits and higher limits.
That's right.
With higher limits come the higher losses, but if you've got your bankroll big enough, you can sustain some of those losses. And that's why I said, that last question is there a dice set? Well, that's really not about the dice set, and
no,
it's really
dice
not.
Set's stupid. Dice set questions are stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, but do we set the dice? Sure we do, because we know how to toss from each position at the table, and we've already done our due diligence. So John, for example, right now at ProCraps is going through his beginning of his journey, which is I'm going to do 10,000 rolls. Well, shit, I think I surpassed that like years ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the documented rolls at that.
Yeah.
So
I'm doing 20,000 live rolls.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
When you do 20,000 live rolls, you're going to be more to the mean.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to do 20,000. But you're going to do 20,000 from the one spot.
Yeah.
Same spot, every spot.
Same
every
spot,
time.
same dice set. That's
right.
what you got to do every time.
I'm doing 10,000 same dice set, 10,000 switching up and targeting. But yeah, I expect my right shoulder to be buff as hell when I'm done with that. Like I'll arm wrestle any of you. That's all done. It's gonna be on.
So
All right, guys,
I'm the guy that wants the dice back as quick as possible. So when I loved it when we were under all the COVID restrictions. I would shoot, and then I would say to the dealers, I got to go wash my hands. I need to go make sure I'm safe and secure. And I'd go to the restroom, come back, and I'd wait on the dice. Now it's getting a little more, it's a little longer, all that. But, you don't have to bet on every swinging person at the table. You just, you want to bet on yourself unless you've got friends that you have confidence in that are also somewhat of an influencer.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But that's what I said. We're going there for two different objectives. So
I never go to have a good time. I never go to socialize. I hate those people who come back and go, well, I lost $500, but we had a great time. I can never have a great time losing $500.
Yeah.
Ed, can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
Ed, I was curious. Before you said that dice set questions are stupid questions, but could you see somebody who would actually want to look for a uniform standard to actually get better at this? The thing is, it seems it's so different from person to person who you ask. A new dice influencer, that's exactly the question they want to hear. They want, what dice set should I use? What do you say to that guy?
They got to spend the time on the practice table.
I would say the same thing. Practice, but you got to practice what dice set's going to work with how you're tossing it. So
how many dice sets are there? 556 or some shit. There's a ton. There's more. There's more dice sets than you can even. It blew my mind when I realized how many dice sets there were.
Yeah, and here's the other. Everybody wants to say that hey, there's a lot of dice sets and they're all part of the same family. They're really not. Believe it or not, they are not part of the same family. It doesn't even equate. You got one part of the world speaks Spanish and the other part of the world speaks Spanish, and those two different Spanish dialects are totally different. They don't understand each other. But what would you say? That's an awesome question, though. 555. Here's the deal. What I would tell somebody is this: if you want to really become proficient at dice, first you want to control what you can control, which are all the different variables that you have right in front of you. You're going to figure out what grip works best for you, what toss works best for you, what your landing zone is going to be. Then you figure out what dice set's going to work based on your own mechanics, right? That's how I started. A lot of trial and error, lots of it, until you figured out what works. So it's not a bad question.
These
These
guys are going to want to hear like how to get started. You know, like you guys know what you're doing already. Now we can debate whether or not it's possible to dice influence. But what do you say to these guys who have no idea and they're just coming in asking you, well, you know, I got to start someplace, you know, El Toro. So where do I start? If it's not with the dice set, then what is it?
You know where you start, Greg? Check my series out starting this week, and we can all learn together.
Yeah, a lot of people start with the hard way set because it gives you the most visible information. If you're thinking about you know, what are the dice doing, you're going to have two different colors, because I see people saying that using the same color and they're visually eyeballing which one's left and which one's right. That's hogwash. Your mind, by the time your head pulls up, you may not see it hit the wall, and you're assuming which one's left and right. But that's going to give you the most visible information. But like as everyone said, the dice set's different for everyone because it's heavy on mechanics. Are you hitting the same spot? And are you landing them flat?
The results don't matter.
And the energy.
The results don't matter. Yeah, it's
all
mechanics,
mechanics.
energy, and what
Practice
the
your
dice are
mechanics
doing.
first.
Does it make sense? Yeah.
Practice your mechanics first, and the dice result is the last of it all. It's everything else in the beginning, and like you said, you can debate the dice control piece of it, but I can tell you that there is a lot behind it, and your how do you say this? You're kind of putting the dice in your favor, right? I'm more of a
advantage players take advantage.
Advantage player. That's what I call it. Yeah, I'm an advantage player. That's what I would. That's what I call myself, right? Not a dice
What
controller.
about us
I
that
can't
don't
control
have an
the game.
actual craps table?
Do the way I started. You
Throw
take
it to
two
a
dice and
couch.
you got a kitchen table on one side and you got a shoebox on the other. You start throwing them into the shoebox,
I've got my
right?
practice set up, but my question is like for all y'all that have a real craps table, you're getting as much information as possible when you're throwing the dice because they're going to react at least similar in a casino. But us that don't have that, how do we handle that?
Well, if you've got a throwing station, you've got a lot. A lot more than what you think.
Yeah, and it's really about what the dice are doing once they hit. Yeah, you can get a bumper setup as well and get a very similar setup. That, like, when you go to the casinos, they're all different bounces. So you're still going to be dealing with totally different setup when you actually go to the casino. What you're looking for is what are the dice doing as they land and on a specific set. And if you can control that and control where you're shooting from, you're going to get good enough information to then make differences in the set or in your mechanics in order to fix yourself over time. But it's going to take a lot of tosses. I mean, I've probably thrown over 100, but
that right
tens
there
of thousands.
is spoken like a true advantage player and a true student of this game. It takes
follow-up question.
It's
Where do
taken
you start with
me
mechanics?
years.
Where do you start with mechanics? If you don't start with the dice
So that's
set,
what I want to get to,
and
Greg.
I'm just throwing this out. Where do you start with mechanics? Because you're going to get the new guy who's going to have these questions, who really wants to know this stuff. So
Are you saying where or
I'm
when?
interested.
Are you saying
So
where? Or
Well,
when?
where do you start with mechanics? I mean, what type of throw do you use? I mean, you have to understand how the new player would be flustered with all this stuff. Was what I was getting.
So here's what I said. Here's what I like to say to a lot of folks. Everyone is different. So, for example, some people cannot throw a certain way. John is one of them, right? From playing baseball, he just can't throw the dice comfortably in a certain direction. First thing you want to do is find out what works for you, what is comfortable for you. Quit trying to copy what you've seen on all your videos and all these things, right? That you've seen on TV, even A&E, right? I mean, God, he's a great, fantastic thrower, but that worked for him. Figure out first where you're comfortable, and if you're comfortable on the table and you're comfortable over the dice, then you can start step 2. Now you work your mechanics around where you are comfortable, just like golf, right? You got to be comfortable over the ball. before you can hit it. Then you start working it.
He's 100% correct. I mean,
It
I can
becomes a
remember,
mental game once you put enough tosses into it, for sure.
Well, let's rewind
Well, if
all
you-
the way
when you-
back to
when you
the
get-
question asked.
Well,
Hold on,
when you
guys.
get advanced, then yeah, you start watching the bounce of the table, and you start studying the table, and you start studying the dice. Right? That's what I look at.
But Greg's asking a simpler question, which is, what do you do on day one? Right? And I think this goes back to what Churro was talking about too, which is, what do you do? Churro, a kitchen table and a shoebox is fine. And I don't care about the stupid, the alligator skin. It doesn't matter. The alligator
Right,
skin
it
affects
doesn't.
the result. The results are meaningless. Okay.
Correct.
And I've talked for hundreds of hours to people. I did the whole series on dice control. I talked to Churro. How many times have we talked on the phone for? We've probably got 50 hours on the phone, you and me, right? I've talked to Ed
tons.
for hours on the phone, right? They both say the same thing. And George, I've talked to, right? All that matters is what you can control, which is how you grip it, how you throw it, where they land. Frankly, if you have an Amazon box at the end of your table, and I draw a square in magic marker on the lip of the Amazon box, and I can land my dice flatly in the square 90% of the time, that's all you have to care about. Because after they hit the square, they hit the table, it's in God's hands. It really is. They're going to hit the backboard as lightly or as hard as you are throwing them, but you got to get them to that spot. And all you can control is how high, the angle of attack, and if they land flat or not in that section of the box. What happens after that, you can't worry about. You can't worry about that. As a beginning dice setter, literally grab them the same way, throw them the same way, and drop them into a spot 1,000 times over and over again until you got that. Then you worry about sets and rubber and surface levels.
That's your first step.
That's your level 2. Yeah, I think, Greg, that's where you start.
That's
I
your
think you
first
literally
step.
throw
Your
them the
first
same
step
way
where you
to
start,
the.
That's where you start.
Yeah, exactly. Same way, same spot, same action, same activity, same speed, same angle, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, and then you can go, oh, now I get it. If I change this one thing, or if the surface is here, yeah.
Yeah, that's where you're going to build that
sense.
muscle memory for your grip. Yeah, your grip, your toss, everything. That's your muscle memory.
Yep. I just want to, like I said, I want to simplify the conversation because it really is about simplicity. And the best you can do is get them there the same way every time. And then, like, we watch Ed's channel, and it tells you how to read what's happening and make a small adjustment. But that's 100,000 rolls into it. That's not week one. Yeah, beer pong. Blacklight just wrote beer pong in the chat. Perfect. Great example. Because and putting in golf. You got to get that groove. I can beer pong the shit out of somebody, by the way. If you want to play with me sometime, I got you. I can beer pong like crazy because I got that 100%, dude, 100%, right? I mean, but that's the same thing. Beer pong and dice setting is the same thing. It's like you got that angle, you got it down. Then it's about, do I want the ball wet or not? Right? Do I want to, you know what I mean?
So what you're saying, John, is the set, is what we've been saying is the set does not matter. It's the mechanics that are repeatable.
Mechanics
time after time.
When you have taken 1,000 or 10,000 rolls, like I'm trying to do, after 10,000 rolls, then you know my mechanics tell me I can do this with the dice. Then you're set. Change based on what you're seeing. The average Joe ain't doing that.
Well, guys, thank you for the thoughtful answers to my questions.
Yeah. Hope that makes sense, Greg. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate the answers to my questions. They were very thoughtful.
Every set will have a so 7. Period.
We didn't catch that, or I didn't.
I didn't hear it either.
Audio issues.
Every dice set has a 7 in it. There's no avoiding the 7. You know, no matter how, whichever way, if you go on axis or whatever, every dice set has a 7. There will be a 7 in it.
It's a matter of putting those sevens. It's a matter of putting those sevens where they're least likely for your toss to appear.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't mean they won't appear, because they will. We will all PSO. We will all point box number 7 out. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt about it. It's a matter of putting the sevens where they are least likely to occur with your particular toss.
That's where it also comes into bankroll management. If you know you're going to PSO at some point, and every single time you go to the casino, that's why we're encouraging have enough shooters in your bankroll, because you're going to catch.
We're not talking about shooters. We're not talking about everybody at the table. Don't.
No. I'm talking. Well,
no, he's talking about the buy-in for your shot. Have enough of them so that you don't ruin your bankroll or go all in.
Don't overbet yourself until you know the table.
Yep.
Yeah, new players. What I see most of the time at the tables, 'cause I see so many, is the new players that come in. They have their one time, the time before they threw lights out. They always tell me, "Oh yeah, you should have seen me last time I was here. I was just a beast." And I kind of look at them. Yep, okay, fantastic. And then they overbet their roll, and they hit 0.7 out immediately. And you look at them and go, "Okay, what happened, beast?"
And you have to be, better under pressure.
It's kind of funny when they say that, right?
Well, Toro, I think it gets to a point too. It gets to a point of you also have to be comfortable being under that pressure, right?
Yeah.
Because putting hundreds of dollars at play, and at times you're going to press up. That's going to affect your mechanics if you don't slow your heartbeat down, if you don't get back to the pre-routine that you normally have. If you don't put yourself in those situations enough times, it's going to affect your throw, and that'll bring in more sevens.
It starts out with what you're bringing as your bankroll. That's where the very beginning of it starts. And if you're stressed about what you just brought to the table, buddy, that's going to translate straight through those dice. You're going to get the yips, and you're going to screw up. And the money that you can't afford to lose, you're going to lose straight up.
You'll be the Tom Watson of short putts for the for the toss.
All right, guys, I think we need to wrap this topic up. That was very interesting. We've talked about that almost on every single episode of Craps Chat. We get into the DI or the DC or the dice sets, and we went into overtime last time. If everybody takes a look at their clock, you'll see that we just pushed over the 3-hour limit. I am starting to have some technical difficulties with my my headset here. I do have one question that I was asked to ask. It was actually texted to me too. Has nothing to do with anything we're going to go with there. So we're going to leave this show on this question, and then we're going to come back for one final question from everybody on the show. Here's the final question we're going to deal with today, and it's actually more of a sarcastic question. Dan asked me to ask this. Has anyone ever had a celebrity at the table when they were shooting? Maybe a sports player, professional, or of course a movie star. I have not. I will that I know of. I will let anybody else who wants to take that question.
There ain't no movie stars in Missouri.
I actually walked into Manute Bol's ass one time. Y'all know who Manute Bol is? That name, Manute Bol. He played for the Sixers back. Yes. He's like 7'8" or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I was scouting a table out. I'm walking around the table trying to find my spot, and I walked to an ass cheek, and it was his. I'm like 5'10" back then. On a good day, I walked right into his ass. I'm like, what the? And that's a dude. He was probably in the hook. I think he could have dropped the dice wherever he wanted. He was so tall. His arms were taller than me. Never seen anything like it in my life. And his waist was probably this big. I could have had my fingers touch. He was 7'8" and 116 pounds. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, John, when you and I were in Atlantic City, we took that picture. I mean, John literally came up to maybe about here to me. Is that about where you were, John? I'm 6'4", 300, so I am a big guy. Go ahead, Joe.
I am not.
Playing in Green Bay, I run into a few of the Packer players up there. None of the big name people, but we put a lot of the second, third stringers and some of the practice squad people play up there quite often. And a lot of them you don't even know until someone points out, hey, that's a Packer player there. So being in a small city with a big team like that, I have occasionally run into people, but no one big named.
All right. Anybody else in the chat here? I actually, if I was to go and I was to shoot at a table with El Toro, I would consider him a celebrity in my eyes. I guess it's like the eyes are in the behold of the person that's seeing them. But I have never done that. Anybody else ever play with anybody famous, celebrity, sports person?
Nope.
I've run into
Does
some
playing with Colorado
NBA and
count?
some NFL players, but not worth talking about.
Who said something? Did something count? Who was that?
That was me. I've run into
Jeremy at Colorado counts. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No. All right, guys. I think that we do have one more question that's out there. I kind of thought this one might take us a little bit. Looks like somebody just played with Michael Jordan. I played blackjack with him. Dice Dr. Dan.
Dice
Actually,
Dr.
Michael
Dan said he played behind him. That's cool.
Yeah, actually, Michael Jordan brings his boat into my local area where I live in Maryland. We have one of the biggest fishing tournaments that takes place here, and he's got a big boat. I've actually met him when I was working. I actually toured his boat, and it was incredible. And he landed his plane at a small commuter airplane airport here, and I was able to tour that as well. It was really nice. But I guess I didn't play craps with him, but I met him. All right. Anybody else out there have anything? There was one more question. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to it today. I believe it was asked by Albright, something about people playing throwers, frustrated by players throwing 7s and 11s on horn numbers on come-outs. Let's just go ahead and wrap this up so we get that question in here. I'll put it up here, and then we'll call the show after this. So the question is, does anybody get frustrated by horns being thrown on the come-outs? Anybody want to take that?
That's why I don't play the line if I don't have to, because it's a win or lose. I mean, you either play the DP or the pass line. It's hard to predict, and some people say I could throw a 7 all day long or an 11 all day long, and then you bet on that and they don't do it. So I mean, it's hard to predict. It really is. So don't play the line if you don't have to.
All right. Anybody else who get frustrated with the come out horns? Anybody? That's a quick
I don't
question.
get frustrated, but when I'm playing on the line, I will do a horn high ace deuce or a $2 or $3 crap because I throw a lot of ace deuce. That's just in the dice, a couple dice sets that I have. It comes out more often than you think.
Alfredo, it's my practice, and it's the way I play, and I get a lot of criticism for it. I always put when I'm shooting, I always put a $5 crap bet out there. If it hits, I tell them to 40 and down. 40 and down, and make it a 3-way crap. And if I do it again, then I just parlay it. And I'm just because it's a $5 bet, I'm taking up to a couple $100. And it hits every once in a while. I probably waste more $5 than I win, but it sure is fun when you hit it.
Yeah, see a horn, bet a horn. Definitely, when you see me shooting, it does happen a lot more often than you think. So you'll actually come up ahead.
I shoot the world bet on come out. So
yeah.
I'll set for horns a lot of times on come out, and that's just simply because I'm ATS thinking ahead.
All right, so I think that's going to do it. What we're going to do, guys, before we wrap it up, I did have one person, and I know Greg stayed out here all for this. Greg, I have 2 things coming out here. This is going to go back as Waylon's still here. This is back when we were talking about channels when Big AZ was on the channel here. I'm going to put this one up here. I want to put it up here. Waylon said that he was inspired by John, Jeff, and Greg inspired me to get a channel, especially John. He told me every day, get a channel, get a channel. He was driving me crazy with his chats. And actually, John, we've done that to a couple people that have come out with their own channels now. And Waylon's Way Craps is a great channel. Everybody likes Waylon's strategies. And Waylon can be a character at time, and I love his personality and his Book of Waylons. I coined that phrase, by the way, guys, the Book of Waylon. So with that said, Greg, this is the real chat that I was going to put up here that somebody asked for. Greg, you'll get a kick out of this. The rest of them may not get a kick out of this. But Pip said, can we put up the picture of Archie Bunker again? So just for Pip, one more time. There we go. There it is. Jeff's injured. Who's going to run the show now? Well, I do believe we've made it through the show. We've made it through the show and almost a little past 3 hours and 10 minutes into the show. Guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's go around and let's talk. Let's start with El Toro. Any final words tonight?
No, I mean, it's nothing special, really. I just want to taking a look at the panel. You look at it and say, everybody that's up here does one of two things, right? You're either a guy who's pushing strategies, or you're a guy who is an advantage player. One of the two. So a pretty good crew, a pretty good diverse crew here to chat with. And then you got a guy that plays nothing but don'ts.
Right.
Not a bad little panel. So it's good to see. It's good to see it, right? Because you get everyone's perspective. Everyone's.
Yep, and we stayed in the chat. We stayed very polite and cordial today. I was starting to get a little worried about an hour ago, but it calmed back down. So we were monitoring that chat as well. So let's go up here. Ed, any final words from you?
It's been a good panel. It's been a lot of good questions, a lot of good back and forth. I've enjoyed it. Different perspectives. You know, I'm not a strategy guy. I admit it. I totally admit it. I hate strategies. But I enjoy tossing the dice.
All right. Joe, at the top there in the center. Craps Master Journey. Big Joe.
X makes an O.
Want to say thanks to everybody on the panel, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Great community. A lot of good representatives up here. Some new people, some people that have been here for quite a while. I want to say thanks to Churro for admitting that you actually watched the channel. That's a big plus. Thanks. But hey, play smart, guys. Be safe, as Jeff would say.
Hey, that's my line. Joe stole my line. All right, Alfredo, your first time here. What did you think?
Yeah, thank you guys. I've got a lot of support from Craps Nation and a lot of the folks that are on here as well. Just look forward to playing with some of you at the casino at some point, and hope you guys like the content. Give me any ideas that you think I should do. I'm really all about the toss, so I just incorporate some of the other strategies to stay alive and stay sort of in playing with other on random people, because that's one of the things that I need to get better at, and I've gotten a lot better at that now, utilizing some of Mel's strategies that help me stay in the game with them and save thousands of dollars and leverage it on my tosses.
I've said it in several of my recent videos. I'm making money on myself and I'm losing money on other people, and I got to get better at not losing money on other people. Yeah. Let's go down to Craig. Old Bay Craps.
Hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody on the panel. Thank you, Jeff, for moderating. Thanks everybody in the chat. Again, I first played this game in February, and I did not know what a profound effect it would have on my life. It's led me here. It's led me to a channel. It's led me to a panel with experts in my eyes. I love it. And I love watching everybody else's stuff. And I'm still in that stage where I'm trying to be a brain sponge and just take it all in and soak it all. And I'll filter it how I need to over time. But if that's what's going to take, it's going to take time and experience. So thank you.
All right. All right. Chris in the middle.
I just want to thank everyone in chat. Great discussions, great questions. Love and respect everyone on this panel. Great group of guys here. Jeff and Dylan, great work putting this together time after time. And looking forward to the next session. And I won't steal your line, Jeff, since I have my own. So just remember, everyone has a little degen in there. And right. I will see you guys soon.
Churro.
Well, let me tell you, this to me was like hanging with, Led Zeppelin with this panel that's on here. I'm just floored, and I sat here and just tried to listen to every single word that the true professionals were saying. I'm so into this game. I'm so into this game, and so getting to hear your guys' professional opinions about certain aspects of this game really is a pleasure to me. So thank you so much, and it was awesome being on here. Great job, Jeff and Dylan. I appreciate it.
All right, let's go down to Greg, my buddy Greg down in Florida.
Well, I want to thank all the distinguished panel here. There's a lot of guys here who I'm fans of and I like. My good friend John from Pro Craps, Chris from Dice Degen, two guys I respect from the dice control community. We got Ed Robinson, and everybody knows El Toro. And the new guys, we got Churro, and I love each and every one of you guys. And all the members of the chat, I want to remind you of something, guys. Even if we play different styles, we're all in this together. You know, it's us against the casino. So remember, pick up wisdom anywhere you can find it. If it's from me, that's just fine. If it's from one of these guys, everybody here is reputable. And I want to thank you all for a wonderful time in this chat. I appreciate you, and I'm truly humbled.
All right. Let's go up to John. I guess the maker of this YouTube channel allows us to come on and do our thing.
Can't hear him.
Can't hear you, John. Your audio's can't hear you, John. Switch mics. He's doing the same thing I just did.
You're still on.
Let's make sure it's not my problem. Somebody in the Zoom say something.
There he goes. He's got him. We got him. Go ahead.
Yeah, my mic went out.
I thought we'd finally been able to silence John there for a second.
Shut your fat ass up. No. Here's what I'm going to say. This is a non-craps thing because I love y'all. And I think it's important to know this, right? This is not my channel. I made CGTV, but it's our channel, right? I'm in the chat a lot over here talking to people. And I think it comes off a lot of times like, me and PJ are fighting or me and Myopia are fighting. And I think it's fantastic that there's so many different opinions here. I know that Greg thinks dice control is bullshit. And I know that, a lot of us are like working at it and we're all in different places. Come bet, place bet, all the different things. I don't care because what other game in the casino lets us have so many opinions? Nobody's fighting about blackjack or baccarat, right? This game gives us opinions to have. It forces you to take a side and maybe even change sides and do all these different kind of things. It's fantastic, right? I mean, thank God we have a game that lets us be ourselves and assert who you are at the table with your own money. It's awesome. So there can be 1,000 channels. It's not going to be enough to cover all of it. And I welcome all the new guys. I wish the old guys would come back, El Toro. And I don't care, like I said, if you're a strategy guy or not, right? It doesn't matter. Just love this game and grow the game, grow the channels. Go to the casino, play the game. Grow the game, bring people in, bring your friends in, bring your wife in, bring them all in. I want more tables, not less. And more fun, not less. That's what this is all about. That's why we have this channel. That's why I go live like a moron every single day. Because I want more people playing. And I want you to win so you can afford to keep playing. And that's part of it too. So I won't use Jeff's line. I don't have a tagline. Just God bless all of you guys. You all are amazing. Love every one of you. So that's it.
All right, John. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I still have the chat up there or the message.
Sorry about the earphones
from JR. It's okay. He says, big name energy tonight. Let's do it again. Hey, guys, this is a team effort. It may have been Dylan's idea to do this and my ability to bring it together on John's channel, but this would not exist if it wasn't for everybody that came out in the chat. And to Andrew that wanted to get in late in the Zoom channel, I need to know who you are before I can let you in because we don't want the mishap that happened about a month and a half ago. So if you would, Andrew, shoot me an email at jeff@midatlanticcraps.com. Let me know who you are so I can make sure that I can really let you into the channel and that we don't have that mishap that we had. So with that said, I'm going to kick it over to the creator of the show, who I believe is finally done with his ice cream and has been quiet most of the night. I've been doing most of the moderating. Dylan, you have the last word before I say my usual outro.
Well, good night, folks. No.
Well, that was simple. That's it.
No, I'm just messing with you. To me, it's moderation. I do use to kick it back to the original ending of this. I do use strategies, and I do dice set. I do try to influence. I've got my dice sets that that I've developed and that work for me. It's once again, it's all about moderation and not over betting anything just using your brains that God gave you. So, yeah, you've got to be careful. You got to play smart. It's just the common sense stuff. But there's always different sides to looking at these cubes. And that's what Craps Chat's all about. It's bringing everybody together, getting different opinions and talking. And we're all learning together. We're all striving to get to the next level, and we're all having fun. And that's what it's all about. So thank you all for coming in and participating. We welcome everybody, and just wanted to say thank you again to Jeff. He does a wonderful, masterful job of all the behind stuff, and there's a lot of hats. There's a lot of hats that he does. So we couldn't do this without his expertise. So I want to tip my hat to him. So thank you very much, Jeff, for being the host. I'm just hopefully an okay fly on the wall that I got the privilege and honor to hang with you guys. So I really do love the Craps community, and we are one big happy family. Even though that we can bicker and squabble, which is part of the fun. So looking back, we're looking forward to the next Craps Chat, and we want you.
I'm getting ready to talk about that. Up there on the next to the last chat I'm going to put up there is Pip says that tonight was brought to us by our local Dairy Queen. Thanks for sharing there, Dylan. And this is good to answer Joe Ramus. The next chat, the Craps Chat, is actually only going to be one in the month of August. Sorry, guys, it's some conflicts in there. I'm actually going to be on a cruise at the end of the month, and I'm also going to be playing craps on that cruise, by the way. But I'm also got Labor Day weekend plans as well. So August 14th, I believe, is the Sunday. We'll have one show in August. It'll be the 14th, and then we're going to have to talk about what we're going to do when football season gets here, because obviously on Sunday nights we're going to run into that football crowd that likes to watch football as well. So with that said, I thank everybody that was here tonight, including everybody in the chat. I was trying to keep up on how many chats there were. I can go overlook at the channel, but I didn't do that. Ed, thank you for getting here so early, my friend. We'll get that watch fixed sometime when I get down there to see you here soon. Joe, thank you for help on the pre-show. Alfredo, you are welcome back anytime, my friend. I really appreciate it, and actually was impressed by the comments that you gave us today. I didn't know that from a standpoint of playing that you had that many years of experience in the game. Craig, we're going to meet sometime soon. Dice Dejan, Chris, I can't wait to see you again. And Churro, thank you, my friend. You also helped with the pre-show. To El Toro, you are welcome anytime. Anybody out there in the chat is welcome here anytime we have the show, and I'm glad you came back, El Toro. Please don't make it such a long absence before you come back and join us again. That would be a wonderful thing, because typically we have comments about what took place on the show the next day, and we always have comments about positive comments about what made the show. Everybody here today made the show, but I'd like to see people that started out for all of us here, and I'm really looking forward to your new content. And my friend Greg, thank you for checking in on me today. That was much appreciated. I really appreciate that. And guys, in case you're wondering why Jeff was doing this all the time for the past hour or so, my pain medicine has wore off, and it's time for me to get out of here. So till next time, before I end this, guys, everybody in the chat here on this side of it, hang in there. We'll be able to chat in about 20 seconds. Just hang in there just a couple seconds more. We'll be right back. Guys, till next time, August 14th, we'll see you. Please be safe and play smart.